and I'm hypnotized. I'm hypnotized. Oh, I know that I love you even though you'll get me killed one day. But when we lock eyes and your smile shining bright, I'll do anything you say, 'cause I'm hypnotized. I'm hypnotized. I'm hypnotized by the light in your eyes. I seem to always find myself in a bind with you. So stomp your feet to the sound of all your burdens crashing down, 'cause I belong to you. I'm hypnotized. Oh, I know that I love you even though you've changed everything in my life. Oh, I know that I love you even though I seem to be hypnotized. You stepped into the room and I knew I was doomed to fall for you. The moment I saw you smile, now everywhere you go, my eyes follow close, and I'm just waiting for the time to be right to tell you how I've loved you for a while. Oh, my heart is going wild. You wear me down like when the sea meets earth. I fade away just like the rocks have worn. Don't you see what you do to me? You keep crashing into me. I keep turning out to be something more than what I was before. Your skin touched my skin, and I could feel the breaking of my cold stone heart was about to begin. The moment that we locked eyes, now everywhere you go, my eyes follow close, and I'm just waiting for the time to be right to tell you how I've loved you for a while. Oh, my heart is going wild. You wear me down like when the sea meets earth. I fade away just like crossing the earth by your side. No, nothing's ever felt this way before, and nothing's ever felt this real. For something I don't always feel. No, nothing's ever felt this way before. Is this real? Is this happening, or a beautiful dream I haven't woken up from?
Good evening and welcome back one and all to the CSL, that's the Collegiate Star League. We've got a good matchup tonight, guys. This is going to be a match between McGill University and CMU Scenario Boys. And from what I understand, what's going on tonight is we got a little bit of a scrim as the two teams scheduled to play for the featured Tuesday night fights were unable to play due to school requirements. So McGill and CMU will be meeting each other later this week, which is surprising that they want to scrim ahead of time, but hey, if they're willing to do that, I am willing to cast it. My name is Toffees. You can find me at Toffees TV, and I'm joined by my co-caster and my partner in crime, Gorgon the Wonder Cow. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. I'm happy to be here. Maybe some scrim action will be just the ticket we need to see some really interesting, unique drafts. So far, the answer to that is no, but you never know what's going to pop out pick 2, pick 3.
Yeah, you know, and nothing takes the edge off not getting an Overwatch invite like casting some BA, CSL, Dota, and
you really want an Overwatch.
I've been watching it, man. I'm a big Blizzard fan, have been for a long time, and I'm really excited about playing it. That said, though, this draft is underway, and it's underway quick. We've got the Alchemist out, Ancient Apparition to assist. Winter Werven for CMU. We see the bans that are fairly prototypical right now. The Doom, the Shadow Fiend, the Broodmother, nobody wants to deal with. And Dazzle getting a first ban. And now he's a hero who in the previous iterations of the meta, I would say never a first ban material. Why is he a first ban here tonight?
So the metagame has shifted away from this largely magic-based core, especially out of the mids, your Lenas, your Queen of Pains, magic and pure, I guess. Your Lenas, your Queen of Pains, your Storms, all of these heroes, there's 4 or 5 others that were really big throughout 6.83 and really into 6.84. That makes basically sustain and negative armor, plus armor based heroes much less effective. You don't necessarily want a ton of negative armor if you have magic dealers on your team, because they don't utilize it very well. You don't want to have a bunch of plus armor on your team if you're against a bunch of magic damage, and being able to heal your team up gradually doesn't work that well against large burst damage. So the Dazzle really only worked up against those sorts of drafts if he had the frame of mind to actually predict with a Grave, which is something that you don't see except at really high levels of play, and even then it's a risky proposition. But now we're seeing a lot more physical damage come out, like the Alchemist, like the Shadow Fiend has actually continued to be quite effective in the meta as well. Legion Commander's been on the rise, Wind Ranger, Spectre, those sorts of heroes.
Oh, interesting. Good to know. Always informative stuff that we get from Gorgon the Wonder Cow here. If you don't know Gorgon, he writes for a couple of different websites, as well as working on a new project that we're not allowed to talk about yet, but sounds like it's going to be pretty exciting. So if you're not following him over on Twitter, make sure you do so. Spirit Breaker banned out. Now, there's a hero that I absolutely love playing, and I'm sure everybody hates me for it, but sad to see him banned, but excited to see him played more often, I guess, competitively now. And is that part of the fact that we've seen this more physical style of play, the idea of having someone who can sort of rotate in, lock someone in place, prevent them from kiting? Is that sort of the appeal of the Spirit Breaker in the meta right now?
Sort of. A lot of that just comes down to having map control, and especially at higher levels of play, once again, when we're typically we're talking about professional games that we're analyzing, right? So when you're looking about Spirit Breaker, what he does is similar to what a Night Stalker provides. He gives you a slight vision advantage, and he gives you the ability to react globally, which is extremely valuable, especially with heroes like Io recently on the rise as well, off of the backs of Vega Squadron and Monkey Business mostly.
Now, this is, someone told me this is CMU-B versus McGill for the Scrim, but this doesn't look like CMU-B.
I think it's McGill B, right?
Okay, that might make more sense, because these are the guys that we covered last week for CMU. Yeah. Sans Venom. You may remember Venom. He was playing really aggressively. We kept calling him because every time there was a fight, he was in the depth of it, good or bad. He's out tonight. Apparently, he had a previous engagement, so Malum will be stepping in for him. That said, CMU played a very strong game, Carnegie Mellon University. I look forward to seeing what they bring to us tonight, if it's new, if it's fresh. They had the Undying Winter Werven, I believe, last time around, too. So this is a combo we know that they know how to run. It was very effective for them, that Undying. I'm curious to see how it goes up against McGill, who's running a very different defense than we saw used against CMU last time. The Ember Spirit, the Alchemist. I think this is the first time we've actually seen the Alch picked up in the CSL during our Tuesday or Thursday night coverage. Should be a lot of fun. And now talk to me about the Alchemist. Here's a hero who I have a friend, Snuggie, who absolutely adores playing Alchemist, says he's incredibly powerful, but agrees with the low to build. I don't always see it, but where is he fit into this meta right now?
So I actually just recently wrote a fairly long treatise on Alchemist and the way that he fits into the meta. I'll try to trim that down a little bit. If you want the full thing, you can go over to, I think that's on Dota Blast, right? So the basic premise of Alchemist is that he creates a ton of space.
Right.
He has negative armor and physical damage, and he forces your opponents to rally into momentum very early, or he bulldozes them, right? Those are your two big options. There is a way to handle the Alchemist where you rotate 3 or 2 heroes very heavily on him, like Michael Jordan coverage, and then have a farming carry who is never part of the action and can very quickly get into the action, either an IO Tiny or a Spectre, something like that. But typically, the most successful way to handle an Alchemist is to pick up the Ancient Apparition, which McGill already snagged, or it is to be very aggressive very early and try to just get the momentum. And now we see Naga Siren, who's here to prevent those sorts of initiations. She's able to come in, Siren Song, reset any engagement, and the Ember Spirit will start to pick up as that Alchemist starts to peak. Now, the problem with Alchemist, especially at this level of play, is that he windows completely differently on a completely different timeline than his allies will, which can be very dangerous for his allies.
Makes sense. And I do want to throw this out there real quick before it goes by. We do have a Statman Mythos standing in with us tonight to help out, and he told me that Dazzle, and this is just to punctuate the point we made earlier, is up to a 70.4% pick ban rate in 6.85 versus a 46% in 6.84. Just to really focus on what you said about this meta catering to a hero like Dazzle really sort of fitting into these lineups. Queen of Pain picked up by CMU, another hero who is being very popular because of the mobility. Now, is that Naga a support Naga, or do you think that's going to be a carry Naga? Okay.
The Ember Spirit's got to carry. The Alchemist will be mid. You don't usually see support Alchemist, although I think it's the most effective Alchemist below the professional level of play. Outside of Asia, you don't see it a whole bunch. I will also point out that Dazzle is, in the last 10 days, sitting on about a 61% win rate. And right now, if you crunch the amount of ranking, ELO ranking, that a team gets from heroes, Dazzle's the 5th most effective hero on this patch.
Intriguing.
So he's only behind the Juggernaut, Doom, Tiny, and Lich.
Interesting. Now, Earthshaker is going to get picked up here as well from McGill. This is a hero that we've seen a lot of play in the CSL. A pace controller, a good initiator, a huge group control fighter. The problem that I have with the Earthshaker is I feel like a lot of McGill's lineup is greedy, but it feels very, very greedy in the sense of Earthshaker needs an item. I personally think he needs the Blink Dagger to get himself running against this lineup. I think Ancient Apparition needs to get the Ag Scepter to really be functional against this lineup.
The Ags will come out of the Alchemist, right? So
that's true. That's a fair point.
McGill is that 3 of the 4 heroes that they've picked up here are optional Ags users, right? It doesn't really do very much for the bulk of their team. It's okay. It's nice on a support Naga Siren. It is nice. But it's not something that having the Alchemist get it usually won't swing the game one way or the other.
Now, when you see this...
Oh, go ahead.
Does this imply that Alchemist isn't going to be an Ags farming Alch? This maybe suggests that more Loda aggression, Radiant style build Alchemist, you're just going to stack up a bunch of items and go ham?
Well, you always want, and you see this out of Alliance too when they run it, you always want your team to be able to utilize Ags, whether or not you plan on farming them out.
Just in case you get there.
What ends up happening is you'll get that Radiance, you'll get a basic item, and then usually you'll farm 1 Ags, and then go for the Manta style. And then you'll farm another Ags and get the Octarine Core. Something like that, kind of a bouncing back and forth, just to make sure the Alchemist is a little bit above his opponent.
Right.
And then helping float the rest of his team. The reason that's important is that windowing problem that I mentioned, that his team doesn't tend to window with him. By farming out that Ags, you can actually help your team window a little more effectively, meaning that they can be effective in the fight earlier so that you aren't forcing them to fight when they're not ready for it.
Now, worth pointing out that you did call that Spectre pretty aggressively early on as a counter to the Alchemist, the CMU fast rotation trio, with Spectre able to come into these fights. Does that Spectre spell trouble for McGill University?
It depends on how confident CMS... It comes down to the support and offlane, I think, for CMU. Right, so if their support and offlane are good at rotating in on this, what I assume is a mid-Alchemist, then great. They will be okay for at least probably 12 to 15 minutes, at which point it will come down to how well can that Spectre farm. The Spectre does do really well with high armor teams, which is nice since he has a Lich on his team, but the coordination is absolutely key for CMU. It's obviously key for a very team fight oriented draft like McGill's as well. But that's the McGill coordination is very in the moment coordination. We need to make sure that we're not screwing up right now during this fight. Whereas CMU needs to coordinate all of the movements pretty much all game.
Makes sense. All right, guys. Well, that said, we are going to jump into this match live. For those of you who are just joining us, my name is Toffees. You can find me at Toffees TV, and I'm joined here by my co-caster, Gorgon the Wonder Cow. You can find him at the Wonder Cow over on Twitter. And this is the Collegiate Star League Tuesday night fight between CMU, Carnegie Mellon University, and McGill University. Let's do a quick introduction of the dire side headed towards the bottom room. We've got Dr. Small Plays getting big on that Alchemist. Going to the jungle, we've got Jagger leading as the Naga Siren, Good Night as the Earthshaker, Moon Panda as the Ancient Apparition, and last but not least, on the top lane, it'll be YCJ on the Ember Spirit.
All right, and moving around for CMU, we're going to have Kim Jong-il taking that Spectre. It's Beavis jumping around on the Queen of Pain. We've got some engagement here.
There's the engagement. In they go. Jaeger's going to start the charge. Big stun. Huge Fisher. Derek Yan dropping low. Eats a tree to escape, and it works out as Small Plays can't get past the tree break. He's got to back away. He takes the damage. He'll be the first blood. Jaeger now on the run. Can he get to the high ground? He can't. He drops, but now Moon Panda is exposed. Kim Jong-il wants to keep the chase going. Derek Yan going to go on the follow. Moon continuing to get lower and lower. A little bit of a, decay, but is it going to be enough? Kim Jong wants to go, doesn't have the mana for the dagger. Moon Panda playing very bold as he turns back around here and uses that salve. So 2 heroes lost for McGill, and really I thought McGill had that initiation pretty strong. What it came down to was the Fisher here, and the eat through, it looked like, of the Spectre that then, it was Alchemist, was the hitbox too big to get through there?
Well, yeah, it was a pathing thing, right? The other big problem, and this is a big problem for Alchemist mids in general, is that he went for the Greevil's Greed to get that huge bonus amount of gold. But he does not have Acid Spray. He does not have, more importantly, an Unstable Concoction for that early engagement. I think it would have been worth it for him to reserve that Greevil's Greed until he knew there wouldn't be an engagement, because a kill out of Unstable Concoction for First Blood to trade 1-1 would have been far better than one rune, even if it is a huge rune for his team overall.
And in this particular case, it became death instead. So Good Night is under assault, puts up a nice double Fisher to buy himself some space, but he's going to drop very low, already almost going to have to burn through a large portion of that regen, eats the south. YCJ up on the top lane, going up against a duel. And this is what we saw, I believe, out of CMU last week as well, the sort of 2-1-2 favorable lineup. They like
with
that,
the Lich, you really have to.
And they like that Lich. They really like that Lich.
Yeah. It's a very strong hero in this current meta for a lot of reasons. One of those reasons is your opponents are typically building to handle physical damage because that's what's popular right now. So the huge nuke of that Chain Frost, especially with the early game team fights and the team fight oriented drafts, can be really, really effective if played correctly. And also the fact that that ice armor does slow down that physical damage draft that you tend to see these days can, once again, be very effective out of this hero.
Beavis playing very aggressively here, trying to get those last hits, but standing inside of the Acid Spray. Got him pretty low. He's at 179 and still taking ticks, so he does have to be careful of wraparounds if they should choose to come. He's got that bottle, though, now, so he'll be in better shape. Meanwhile, Alchemist will go to the top and be able to Greevil's Greed himself. A level 2 Greevil's Greed, mind you, into that top rune. So a little bit of a bounce back after that tough start.
Yeah. And getting those runes is really big for Alchemist. Obviously, it's a huge surge of gold. Alchemist in this matchup specifically, but in general, actually, yeah, top looks like it should be fine. Yeah. In this matchup specifically, but in general as well, never mind. Top is, oh, geez, Jaeger kind of gave away the ghost there for a second.
Yeah, a lot of back and forth up here. A lot of trying to push Derek Yan backwards. Ember Spirit doing okay with it, 7-4, but Derek not as boxed out as they'd like him to be at 4-3, harassing YCJ a lot. Down the bottom, Good Night is 6-1, which I think is actually pretty impressive in my opinion,
really good,
to go up against this Spectre and this Winter Wyvern. So he's doing fairly well, though I will say he has taken a lot of damage. He's run through a large portion of his regen, and I think he's going to start to get get boxed out more successfully from here. YCJ does get tombstoned as Derek Yan decides to go for the dive, chases him down. 1 decay, another right click will do it, and down goes the Ember Spirit. In comes Jaeger to try and finish the job. CMU, very low creeps end up finishing it, but in the meantime, we lose the Ancient Apparition. So it's a 2-for-1. Jaeger gets a kill on a core, but at a cost that is significantly too high for McGill to pay. Meanwhile, Goodnight on the bottom, speaking of heavy costs, is being chased backwards. This should be a kill for, nope, not for Kim. Didn't have any mana regen.
There's no boots on the Kim Jong-il, and Spectre is not a very particularly fast hero, especially considering the Earthshaker rushed boots. So
and smart play by him. Smart play by him. He's made good choices down there on that bottom lane.
Yeah, but he was maybe a bit too far forward, but he hadn't been punished so far, and Winter Wyvern is kind of a weak laner for the first couple of levels.
Spider caught inside of Naga's web. Sorry, Spider's down on the top lane. They're now moving on Derek Yan. Derek Yan came in to help, puts down the Tombstone. Jaeger going to be on the run. They kill the Tombstone. Jaeger gives his life to buy a little bit of space. Derek Yan on the run goes ahead and gets up that lockdown. He decides to go the opposite direction, but it should still hit. YCJ, can you finish the job? He cannot. He decides not to go for it.
He had no mana. He had a magic stick. He had 8 wand charges.
Yep, wand charges.
Oh, he hasn't level slided. He's doing the no slide of fist level though.
Gotcha.
He would not have been able to catch up now. So
fair enough.
It was smart of him though. What he did do was he rotated around toward the stack, assuming that the Undying might try to deny himself, which is also what I thought the Undying would do.
Yeah.
That was a really smart hook around. He probably wouldn't have been able to catch it either way, but at least that way he's covered his bases, right?
Goodnight comes back and immediately he hasn't really gone back to heal. He's been trying to stay as long as he can. Got low again. Winter Wyvern says, "You need to leave, please," and forces him back.
The Splinter Blast is going to start hurting a lot more.
Yeah.
The Arctic Burn still can't be spammed too much at this level, but it just takes a little bit of that to hurt. Back to what I was trying to say about this matchup earlier is that this is not the best matchup ever for an Alchemist. He doesn't typically like to deal with ranged heroes, but he comes at a negative CS matchup, no matter who his opponent is, almost. Like, almost everybody, he gets fewer last hits, but because of Greevil's Greed, he ends up getting a lot more gold. So he's doing very well considering the matchup, though. Right now, he should be behind, and he's actually tied up. So
Spider and Derek push back the support, and now they want to make a move on YCJ, harass him down, but Spider has the speed to just sort of move himself out of that position. Gets YCJ in some trouble. He pops that Flame Guard, and it's not doing nearly as much damage to Derek Yan as I think he hopes it would.
Yeah, it helps a bit with the magic damage that's coming out of the Lich, but that's really all because, he's going to die. That's it. Good night, Moon.
There it goes. He goes down. That Tombstone very strong. Moon Panda now on the run. Derek Yan wants to chase. Ultimate is burned, but for good measure as Derek Yan will end up getting the kill. Jaeger comes in, puts out the stun, does a good job of catching inside of tower range, and that should be the end of Derek Yan as YCJ comes back in. He's here, though. He gets out that stun. Now he finishes him. Flame Guard putting in some work. Spider trying to run. Creeps body blocking for him, trying to give as much help as they can. He's just outside of range, and now he is dead. Jaeger showing us exactly why Naga is a strong support at this stage of the game.
Yeah, that really great range on that that net is quite effective at this stage, especially. It never really falls out of fashion.
Yeah.
But the fact that the Lich didn't fall back there when the Undying got in trouble was that was questionable. I feel like if this were baseball, that might have been an error.
All right, so Derek Yan still wanting to mix it up aggressively with YCJ. YCJ putting a lot of points into that Flame Guard and putting a lot of damage back on Derek. So Derek forced, I thought our side popped his ultimate. He's only level 5. Never mind. Forces him back, uses mana boots, and we'll see YCJ rotate out to do a little bit of jungling.
This is an interesting call. They've rotated their level 2 AA into the lane while Equilibrium is in dire favor so that the Alchemist can farm a single stack in the jungle. I wouldn't have made this call. I would have let Moon Panda stack a little bit more before rotating this in. The Queen of Pain should just come kill him, to be honest. I'm not sure why she's not. Her ult is enough to kill him by itself. And she might be realizing that right now.
Looks like she is coming in. Let's keep an eye on her. She thinks about initiating. Throws the dagger out. We see Ancient Apparition hiding in the tree line, not revealing himself. Beavis waiting for his opportunity and decides it's not worth sticking around. backs away. Meanwhile, up on top, McGill, YCJ, low again as Derek Yan throws down the tombstone, pops the ultimate this time. Jaeger goes under tower, but it's not going to help him as he is sent back to base along with his laning partner. Down on the bottom, Kim Jong is caught out by Goodnight, so Goodnight manages to get a counter kill, but things are still not really looking great for McGill University based on the start here.
Yeah, the Alchemist will bump them back in very, very quickly here. He's at 2,500 gold. He's getting closest to his Radiance, and as soon as he gets that, everything just, the world opens up to them as long as they can stay alive. The problem is they have spread their stacks out. They had two camps there, a single stack, and then a double stack for 3 camps there. And then they've got 2 camps here. The problem with spreading that out is that you really want to use that acid spray to maximum efficacy so you get the most Greevil's greed gold, because the faster you kill those creeps, the closer to each other they die, the more gold you're going to end up getting. So all this travel time is actually hurting the Alchemist a little bit.
Good point. Good night. Taking a lot of damage here. That Malum really hurting him with the Splinter Blast. Meanwhile, up on top, YCJ being hunted again. You'd think he was on a Savannah or something at the way that Spider is aggressively taking pot shots and trying to drop him at any chance he gets. Small plays back to the middle lane where he's level 8 up against that Quap, who is currently level 8 as well. Looks like the top could be in some trouble. YCJ goes in to try and farm himself a stack. He will use that Flame Guard to get those down. Spider watching and waiting, and they may find Ancient Apparition. Moon Panda, you're too low. The Tombstone comes out. A right click or a decay will finish the job. Down he goes. He just can't fight. And that's the problem with the AA, is that it's so easy to fall behind in levels. He's so squishy.
He's not a stacking hero. Like, unless you are very good as a team and very good with that hero, you can't get away with having him in the jungle for that long without giving him some way to catch up. Beavis just,
big
I don't
kill.
know if you caught that. That was just a man mode fight.
That was man mode. I think Alk thought he could go a little more manly, didn't have the mana to do it, ended up going down. Meanwhile, on the bottom, Kim Jong-il is going to push that top tower. In the jungle, Spider is going to find McGill, who is very low. Can he finish the job? He does.
Yeah, and he didn't even blow the ult for it.
No, he didn't even blow it. He didn't even
got
use
the last
Frost
hit,
Blast.
Jeez.
Brutal.
Yeah, this is trouble. I don't know if you heard me mutter "oh boy" under my breath just before that last engagement, but that "oh boy" was just me recognizing the AA was dead the second his feet touched the stop lane. I noticed he was up here, and it was just a matter of time. It could have been 10 seconds, it could have been 45, but he had no way to live up here.
He's an interesting hero because I think a lot of folks don't really understand the skill cap required for an Ancient Apparition. Like, he's so easy to fall behind. He doesn't have any of the instantaneous support skills that you're used to having, right? His stun takes time, the slows have to be executed correctly, positioning is absolutely paramount, and what we're seeing here is a very classic Ancient Apparition just sort of being relegated. And yes, Alchemist will give him his Ag Scepter, and that from that point, as long as he gets to level 11, he can sort of hang back and just do his thing. But is that really is that the 5th position you want on your team?
Yeah, I think it is if you can get him levels, right? But the levels are the big problem for an AA, even more than the Ags. The Ags obviously very, very helpful, but getting up to that level 11, maybe even that level 16 with a Midas is a really good way to do that if you're not off to a terrible start. But he's been completely out of lane. He's 0-3. He's probably not going to get that before 20 minutes. Yeah. Very questionable at that point. Up until 20 minutes, this is the one hero that in my mind, up until 20 minutes, you might even be able to make a case for a Midas on an A because you're doing it for the levels, not the
right.
But after that point, even for the levels, it's hard to justify. He can jungle fairly effectively with Cold Feet in combination with Chilling Touch.
McGill's going to go in on Beavis. Beavis gets out of trouble. He's able to blink away. McGill takes some damage, though, and now he's got it back. Beavis wants to come in. There's the re-engagement to the high ground. And YCJ lost vision for a second, popped his Flame Guard, but Beavis, with that mobility and that damage output, completely crushes him. A nice lock-in from Malum to buy time for the Quap to back off and regen what she needed to come in there. That was just a great play by Carnegie Mulligan. I don't know
man, some contention there for good night. He almost went and picked up that bounty, emptied his bottle and everything.
Man.
He said, no.
That would have been, I think we would have heard the yelling from here.
We would have seen some rage quitting, probably. This is a good play by the Alchemist. Though.
Yeah, I agree.
They don't have any control. There's no more stacks for him to get, so this is the most efficient stack combo to actually farm because you can knock down that tree and get both stacks with one acid spray. There's no stack in either jungle that's that efficient.
That makes sense. All right, now let's look at the bottom lane where Kim Jong-il hasn't had a great game so far. He is 63-3. His net worth is 4th on the list, but this Earthshaker has done a very good job on the bottom lane. If you look at the last hits, he is 37-53, or I'm sorry, 37-63, which I think is reasonable for an off lane who is fairly contested. But he has a similar net worth. I think that's the key there, is he's really been able to slow this Spectre down effectively. Speaking of slowing down, Moon Panda hit with the dagger. Kim Jong will enjoy some free, tasty goodness, and the mini stun comes through, and that's going to be a dead Earthshaker too. He's down. Now we've got Alchemist with no one to stun. Oh, Winter shows, so he does get the stun off, but he's only going to run into Derek Yan with the beautiful little body block. In comes Jaeger with the ulti, wasted, saves no one, and just has to back away in what we can only call a walk of shame.
That's also going to be a tower. There's no way they don't knock down this a 98 health tower.
We're gonna zoom in so we can watch the walk of shame.
Oh, jeez. Poor guy. So, what you were saying about the Earthshaker, yeah, he has done a pretty good job, I would say. But bear in mind that you really, when you're comparing across team, ideally the best comparison you can make is offlaner to offlaner rather than offlaner to farming carry. And Undying has 2,000 more gold. It's almost 150%
That's true.
of Earthshaker's overall net worth. So while Earthshaker has actually been doing pretty well, I would say, considering it's, I think, a moderately rough matchup and he's not an ideal offlaner.
Yeah, I will say though, Undying had a laning partner, and those two went hambone on the top lane versus an Earthshaker who was up against a tri-lane, and just normally you would say, okay, he'll get some levels, he'll try to survive, and the fact that he still stayed relevant, kudos to Goodnight, I think at least deserves that for being a melee offlaner who was able to stay cost-wise or gold-wise competitive.
Yeah, I not to take anything away from the player, the strategic decisions, drafting decisions that CMU have made have been paying off, even though this individual player on the Earthshaker has been doing overall, I think, pretty well considering the situation.
Definitely. Gold lead, by the way, is at about 4,000 for Carnegie Mellon, about 6,000 in terms of their XP lead as they start to push up the bottom lane.
They have to defend this. Why?
Gone.
But why didn't they deny that? If they aren't planning on coming to defend it, I don't know why they didn't deny it before. Maybe to buy themselves 15 seconds for the Ember Spirit to farm?
Every second, really the plan? Every second counts when your Ember Spirit's sitting on a Ring of Aquila and a wand.
Yeah, it's okay.
I guess.
I mean, the Spectre is just only sitting on top of a Ring of Aquila and a poor man's shield, the casual Morbid Mass, so he's not that far ahead, to be honest.
Small plays is Radiance savvy now as he goes into lane to start pushing that out. They do need to pick up a few towers, I think McGill does, to get a little bit of space to farm themselves back into this thing. And I don't know if they're in a position to make any of those pushes right now.
So, I harp on this a lot. I said it during the draft. This is a big problem with the Alchemist draft in general. He did pretty well in his lane. He did better than the matchup implies he should do, at least from pro stats. He did give up an early kill. He has now given up 2 additional deaths. But he's basically ready to go, at least do some basic fights. But he can't because his team is not ready to go. Now, that means that he is gankable while his team is not ready to engage with him. And every time he dies, that giant net worth that he has, the 9,300 bonus net worth, gets sapped away in the AoE gold. Every single time he dies, his opponents are benefiting from the fact that he has more gold than he can actually use right now.
So he's got a boots to travel. I do want to point out that Derek Yan is about to get a 17-minute Ag Scepter up on his Undying. Assuming Goodnight doesn't kill him before he picks it up, he might! Derek dropping low, what an ultimate, comes in, gets the heal from the Winter. He's going to get out of the Frost Blast too, somehow survives. Beavis continuing with the chase, wants to go after Moon Panda. Moon Panda in some serious trouble here, finishes the job, and Derek, who we thought was doomed, ends up living with some great team play, gets his Ags online, and now he'll TP to the bottom lane to defend it. That was CMU plays for days.
Jeepers creepers, man, that was a very impressive play. And now bottom YCJ is going to die trying to fight a fight that he really shouldn't be.
He went in,
he
put
didn't
up
realize
the lock.
that Ags was up, I think. Oh, don't turn into it. He's going to get baited in here if he's not careful.
If he doesn't know that
If Ember
Ags is
Spirit
there.
comes in on this, he dies. Almost for sure. He already used his Remnant. And the Decay is really strong at this stage in the game with an Ags.
And he comes. Going to go ahead and make a little move. Derek is going to get hit by the Ancient Apparition. That'll kill him. Smart play. Smart play. In comes Spider to help. Spider dropping low. He's got the Ancient Apparition ultimate on him as well. They can get him low enough. He's going to go down. Earthshaker finishes the job, and that's a double for McGill. That's very valuable at this stage of the game. So they knew what they were doing. I guess Ancient Apparition said, I can hit this, guys. Trust me. Literally just hit level 6 and was able to send that in there and help them get the takedown.
Yeah, this is kind of brutal. One of our stats men have pointed to the fact that the 4 fastest Ags times so far on this patch for Undying have all been losing games.
Really?
I will point out why that trend is. Oh, never mind. We're gonna.
Beavis is engaged. Another nice save from Millum, though. It's not going to save him from YCJ. YCJ now wants to go around. TPs are coming in. Here comes Small Plays running full speed. Gets up the stud. Locks up Derek Yan as soon as he lands, but not before the Tombstone goes down. Team says hit Tombstone, but we got that soul. The DK takes a ton of health away, drops down. That Alchemist Jaeger is going to hit his song, get them repositioned to engage here. And no, it looks like they will back off instead. So they considered fighting, but now Spectre wants to get involved. Pops his ultimate, makes the chase. Moon Panda going to be the easy target, so Kim will go after him. Derek Yan makes sure that that deal is finished, and YCJ gets a free TP out of harm's way. But they lost 2 heroes in that fight. And again, CMU back to playing very well as a team.
Yeah. So this Undying Ags thing, it doesn't always work out, and a big part of that is that having an Ags as an Undying does not necessarily scale super well into the late game, and the other issue that you run into is that it puts a giant target on your back. Even the most fragmented of teams will burn down an Undying that has an Ags before they go into anything else, because they realize if they go into the fight without having burned him down, he will come out with 1,700 health and be unkillable.
Good
What
night.
happened there? I was not
Good night. Blinked in, used his Echo Slam on a full creep wave with the Lich, and then just right clicked him. I mean, it was brutal. It was an Echo Slam to try and get himself a little extra farm. Was it worth using it on the Lich? I guess so.
Hey,
a kill's a kill
when you're this far behind.
That's
right?
true. A kill's a kill. Though that's
Chinese Dota logic, right?
But that tells CMU that they can push the remaining tower because they know that there's no Earthshaker Echo Slam available for 100 minutes. I mean, that's not 100 minutes, 100 seconds. 100 minutes would be ridiculous.
They can push 2 effectively. Maybe they'll push to tier 1, but that's going to go down soon anyway, right?
Yeah.
How long can they hold up a tier 1 while they're down 13 kills? In a game where their Alchemist is the only thing keeping them in.
Derek Yan comes in with Dr. Small Plays, now has to be on the run. Here comes the Apparition, nice play, stuns him low. Derek realizes it a bit too late, no heal available. He's going to go down, can't heal himself, but here comes Quap. Beavis putting in the work. Moon Panda, oh so very low. He's going to go down 2, and that's a nice double for the cost of that Undying. And now they think about chasing YCJ. He's going to go out and throw out some remnants for safety reasons. Now he backs away. Spectre pops the ultimate with the Radiance. Goes up to the top and doesn't find anybody there. Now we see the rotation by Malum. YCJ is going to engage on him. Malum doesn't have any help. Puts up the flying. Tries to get away. Going over the high ground. And McGill gets a nice sleight of fist, but it won't be enough. Malum gets stunned by Goodnight with the blind shot. I'm sorry, not blind. They have a rune or a vision right there. There's YCJ. Throws out the remnant and manages to get to the high ground for the pickoff. Well.
Yep. This is a bit of what I was talking about with that Alchemist. Some matchbook calculations that I just did after that fight tells me that Alchemist gave up about 300 AoE gold when he died. The entire engagement would have been closest to even if that were a standard mid that was standardly behind like the rest of his team.
Right.
But because he's so far ahead of the rest of his team and his opponents, every time he dies, it's like losing 2 heroes. It really is, and it is devastating if you don't have perfect teamwork alongside that out.
Especially a team that is that far behind is not used to having to deal with that as well. That makes sense. CMU at only 1,000 gold to the lead. XP is still pretty significant though at 7,500. And McGill looks like they will go back to doing a little bit of farming here. Small Play is really interested in farming his opponent's jungle. Is going to head right back in there. But now look at Radiant's vision. They're watching everything.
Yeah. He needs to be careful with this Radiance though, because he can actually end up giving away his location, and he's very gankable. He thinks he's invincible, maybe, because he's out here where his opponents aren't, but if 3 of them come rolling up on him while he's out here by himself, the AA blast will probably not be enough to save him.
All right, so they've seen him now. They know he's in here. He's going to go ahead and Use that Manta to send out some illusions for farming. Heads down towards the bottom lane. We got a nice stack up here on the Ancients that Malam's put together for Kim Jong, so he'll go ahead and enjoy that. Meanwhile, in his opponent in the jungle, YCJ farms aggressively, trying to get his next piece online, and it looks like he's close to getting that Battle Fury up and running here. So that should be out relatively soon. PhD, the Doctor, still in the jungle, not worried about any sort of rotation, and I guess it's well-deserved because there are no rotations coming at the moment. Using those Mantas to just kind of scout out any approach vectors.
Yeah, he has to be careful. That doesn't mean that he can't.
Ooh, hold on a second, because CMU, Beavis got aggressive and went after the Ancient Apparition. Goodnight was hanging out in the wings and said, "Leave my apparition alone," and made Beavis pay for it. And that's actually a pretty great trade for McGill University.
That's a fantastic trade. That's a net swing of almost 1,000. It's over 800.
That's a good net swing. As net swings go, that's quality.
Especially when you're really, as a team, you're only behind about 1,000. So that basically brings him to even. Granted, a lot of that is on the Alchemist. An Alchemist by himself usually does not carry out complete games, though he could potentially do it against CMU because the Undying does not scale infinitely. Especially with a mechanism build, like he will start to fall down. The Ember Spirit will eventually come into the game pretty strong. And the Naga Siren is a great late-game support. So is the Ancient Apparition, possibly the best late-game support. One of them, certainly.
Right.
So the Spectre is a hard carry. But McGill is by no means out of this.
Right, absolutely. Could not agree with that more. In fact, McGill has taken the gold lead for the first time in this game at almost 1,000, and they pulled back the XP lead fairly significantly. So McGill holding tight, making sure that they try their best to stay in this one. And as you said, a lot of that's on the back of the Alchemist, but the Alchemist hopefully will be farming some things like the Egg Scepter for the Ancient Apparition.
Bye, Moon Panda.
The Moon Panda always going... He gets out, he's fine. Lives, they choose not to go after him. They go after Jaeger. Jaeger takes some serious damage, pops the song, and the escape is on. Can they close in time? Kim Jong and Spider want to make the chase happen. Spider, the last man standing, determined to try and kill him. Won't work. Nice slot. Yeah, it was a great play by the Apparition.
If McGill do win this game, or even if they significantly drag this game out and put up a really good showing, which is looking like they will at this point, I think it's entirely on the back of this poor Ancient Apparition.
Yeah.
He had 3 major ultimates that set up ganks that would have been otherwise impossible. And not only that, his slows coming out with the Ice Vortex have deterred a couple of potential ganks. And he got all of the stacks up for the Alchemist by himself, putting himself at a major level disadvantage, which is not what you want as an Ancient Apparition. And yet he's still pulling his weight in this game, even though he's 0 and 8.
Now, worth noting, the Alchemist did not follow your build advice. He's going straight items for him. Malum in some trouble, gets hit by YCJ. Ancient Apparition going to send his ball flying by. Malum comes back out, puts up flying, wants to go after YCJ, but maybe a bit too premature. No, he not really, because Beavis is here to help. Beavis gets the kill. So Malum basically put himself at risk and said, I'm going to keep you here. Even if I go down, Beavis can finish the job. Meanwhile, Goodnight finds himself some King Jong ill. He uses his load. He's got to now back away. Kim Jong takes some damage, but not nearly enough. Here comes a rotation from Jaeger, who decides it's not worth engaging on because the backup has arrived in the form of Beavis, who is all over this map, is level 17, and has been absolutely unrelenting in terms of making anybody pay for positioning mistakes.
Yeah, so for this Alchemist and his build, his decision to build for himself and not for his team, he kind of has to because of the way the draft works, right? Ideally, they would have some mid-game cores like a Venomancer that he could then quickly give an Ags to, and that would allow them to be a dual-core team at 15 minutes or 20 minutes and just absolutely devastate. With an Ember Spirit being your second core, you don't have that option. And so now what Alchemist's role has become is create as much space as possible for the Ember Spirit to also catch up. Right? If he ends up farming out Ags for the Ancient Apparition, for the Naga Siren, or for the Earthshaker, what he isn't doing is creating a bunch of space for the Ember Spirit, and the Ember Spirit ends up falling behind if they're not taking every single team fight, which they probably won't.
Well, Quap, by the way, has finished up both the Ags and the Linkage Sphere. I believe Lincoln's was just finished up after that last kill. So she is significantly effective. She's level 17, so she's actually on par with what that Alk's got right now. Goodnight thinking about engaging on this. Here we go towards the Roche Pit, where Derek Yan is going to send his He gets caught by an Alk Illusion, who does a ton of damage, just the Manta style, putting in some work. And now the rotation, Malum and Spider together, taking a lot. Here comes Derek, pops the Tombstone. It's not going to attract many zombies. YCJ and the rest of the crew just jump away from it and say, we're not fighting into your Tombstone. It's just too much damage for us to deal with. Now comes PhD, too far forward. Beavis from behind wants to make his move. Goodnight waiting in the wings for his chance to get off those ridiculous combos he's been specializing in so far in this match. Derek Yan cut out from his team, but Beavis watching from the wings, waiting for his chance to go in. Here he comes. He's got his full load ready to go. Can pop it at any time. Jaeger is going to go down. Not needed. Beavis now on the chase. Wants to make it happen. Here he comes. Kills Moon Panda with the first shot. Goodnight jumps to safety. Small plays. Going to get locked in place and allow everyone to get in position. Kim Jong putting out some serious damage. He jumps out. In comes a nice play from YCJ that locks up half of the team. Kim Jong dropping very low. Can they finish the job? Ancient Apparition. Going to throw his ultimate in. Not going to catch anyone, but it's not going to matter. YCJ jumps to safety. Back to death. Comes in and gets picked off. Now Derek Yan is on the run from Small Plays, who's got the stun running. Pops himself. That should buy Derek the time to get out of there. He was dying from the Radiance burn, but they couldn't quite do it in time. Almost. So gosh darn close. And you gotta wonder, if Alchemist had not been queuing the stun as he chased through the trees, he could have been able to finish that Derek Yan off through Radiance alone.
Yeah, possibly. That's going to land because it's non-disjointable, which is hilarious. But yeah, he probably could have, but the danger there is that he is TPing away right around the corner, and I don't have the reaction time. I don't know. You know, he just wanted to make sure that he could catch up.
Makes sense. All right, Gold Lead, by the way, is still in McGill's favor. Was up to 2,000, back to 1. XP still pretty solidly on CMU's side. That Alchemist is 2,300 goals. I mean, that's really the point of McGill having any sort of competition here. But that's what they wanted, right? They want that Alch to get up those items, buy those Egg Scepters, get involved. He's at 36 on Grievel's Greed right now as he runs between these stacks as fast as his little legs will carry him. Ancient Apparition still has not received an Egg Scepter, though Alchemist is now sitting on 2,500 gold. Is it time for the eggs, or is he going to buy another item?
I think he is probably going to sell his Quelling Blade and maybe get a beak. No. I don't... Not entirely sure what he gets in this case. Might want to consider getting an axe for the AA, but AA is not anywhere close to level 11. You don't really need to get it to him before then anyway, so... Probably get himself an item. It is going to be an AC.
AC, I was thinking, okay.
Okay, so... AC is a really good choice because the negative armor is vital for taking out an Undying with Ags. Another reason Undying Ags falls off, in fact, is because negative armor comes out later in the game. I expected a Desolator to come out in the Ember Spirit as that solution, but Alchemist has the gold and he's got nothing else to spend it on.
Right, absolutely. And it makes him tankier for these fights where they're throwing him into the middle of the whole thing with the Radiance. I think it's a great pickup for him. Dr. Small Plays making that choice. Now we go to the mid where we've got a concentrated push by the boys from CMU. Looks like they want to try to go up this middle lane and take a fight, but there are just illusions running everywhere between the Naga and the Alchemist. You never know who's who as all of these copies run all over the place. Now we do see the Mantic's going to push in for that Alchemist, put some damage on Kim Jong, already gets him down to 3/4 health with just the Manta Illusions. Derek and the rest of the team now assaulting that middle tower, but can they afford to stay much longer? I don't know if they can, as McGill has the initiation in the form of that Naga Siren.
Yeah, the Alchemist is going to come up behind.
Alchemist comes from behind. He's going to come up. Looks like he's going for the wraparound to the tower instead of actually engaging from behind. Meanwhile, on the bottom, YCJ is going to hit that tower. And Small Plays will Ancient.
They're thinking about just giving up this tower, which is an okay call.
Well, especially if YCJ can pick up the bottom before it goes down.
They've got the AA ult.
There's the AA ulti. Here they come from behind. Goodnight jumps in, gets off the Echo Slam. Ultimate comes out from the Lich. All it's going to do is burn itself out on creeps, though, so a nice dodge from them. YCJ staying on the bottom. Meanwhile, the engagement goes. Kim Jong jumps in, taking a lot of damage. Jaeger drops back. Big play by Beavis, dropping 1, dropping 2. Now the chase onto Small Plays as he's got to get back to safety. Spider got low, but not low enough. YCJ comes back from the bottom, wants to make a move. Not going to come up with anybody just yet, as he jukes around and tries to find someone to pick up. And now he's in danger. His Quap makes the return, comes in, puts up the dagger. Here comes the rest of the posse. Beavis taking some damage. They're on top of him. Can they make the save? YCJ gets burned down with a nice play from the Winter Werven, who's going to crawl to safety. No, he's not. He's going to end up going down. Derek Yan being chased by Small Plays. That Radiance putting in some serious work. Again, he's got the stun. He's going to utilize it before he can get away. Manta Illusions, Radiance all over the place. He pops the TP. Can he escape? He will get to safety with 150 health to his name.
Yeah, very close. They probably should have let that tower go. They got everything they needed to fight that when it was too late to honestly defend the tower. And then there were a couple of moments of desperation. In order to save the tower, the Earthshaker jumped in to get that ultimate off when he didn't get all the heroes within that radius. If they had maybe gone earlier, I'm not sure if they were waiting on ults or if they were waiting on positioning. Had they gone earlier while everybody was bunched up, that would have been a great initiation. Had they just saved it for the high ground defense, that would have been great. As it is, it ends up swinging pretty heavily away from McGill because they just kind of trailed in and got picked off one at a time.
Ancient Apparition still level 8. Like you said, long way off of that 11. What do you do as the Apparition at this stage of the game? 33 minutes, level 8.
Try to follow the Alchemist for experience.
That's basically it, right? Soak his XP because he only cares about the gold at this point.
Yeah, especially because he's just leaving jungle camps being farmed by illusions. None of that experience isn't going anywhere.
Right.
So you get solo kill experience if you just follow those illusions around.
And you can still hit from a distance. It makes sense. CMU sends Derek Yan forward with Beavis as they continue to march up the middle. This is something we saw CMU do with Venom last week, if I remember correctly, and this is their addiction to the middle push.
Yeah, this is... I honestly, I'm not sure why they high ground here, especially knowing that all the ultimates are up from McGill, and last time they barely got away from that, just because McGill may be over-engaged. A nice attempt to bait out from small plays. Doesn't end up working out, but it was a good inclination.
So he was hoping. His ultimate is going to be down right now, if they or soonish, if they choose to engage on him and try to hit him during that window. Beavis now going to have to back off, and honestly, they allowed a split push from the Spectre, but they could have grouped up and taken one of these exterior towers.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure they can take an exterior tower either, but what they can do is that they can just camp out this jungle, put some vision down here, and just force McGill to do nothing, right? They can force McGill to smoke out into them, which is a favorable engagement for CMU.
Derek Yan could be in some trouble. I thought they were going to engage them. They decide not to. Throw out the Manta instead. YCJ getting aggressive. Puts up that Flame Guard. Down comes the Tombstone from Derek. Stun ready to go from small plays. He's going to throw it at Derek Yan. Derek Yan taking some damage. In comes the ulti from Ancient Apparition. It is going to hit, but is it going to kill enough? Malum will go down. Nice finish by the Earthshaker. That magic damage finishing the job. Derek Yan dropping low. Can they finish him? He wants to get away. Heals himself up pretty well, but it's not going to be enough. Stun is available on small plays. He'll utilize that and get the kill. And McGill gets the double against CMU because CMU just out of position, pushing that mid lane, trying to make space for Kim Jong, who did ultimately get a tower, but what will that cost? Good Night comes in, blows pretty much everything he's got, trying to slow Kim Jong down, put some damage on him, has the DD rune, so Kim Jong is a little wary about trying to fight into this, and we'll just run for safety. Good Night finds him, blinks past him, and will not get the stun. He ends up getting away. Close one. And again, all right, we're going to zoom in on the walk.
I'm going to zoom in on the walk with you. How sad. Actually, she's pretty happy about that. She's pretty pepped up.
She's got a jaunt to her step. Meanwhile, on the bottom, small plays, pops the ulti, wants to run, but he gets hit with the Hex Stick. Brand new item from Beavis, revealed for the first time, but small plays, undaunted, turns back around, puts the stun out, wants to go on Kim Jong-il. Kim Jong-il's caught inside. In comes a big ice blast, but the rest of the team was outside of it. YCJ is going to go down. Kim Jong taking a lot of damage to small plays. Small plays gets attacked by Malum, and that may have backfired as it actually healed him up and protected him from the Spectre finish. That's a killing spree as he takes out the Lich, pops the TP, and goes to safety.
That's a smart TP away from him. He got what he came for, and he's going on home with his bat and ball. CMU are just making tactically dangerous decisions.
I would call them
there are tactically safe decisions to make.
Tactically questionable decisions.
Yeah, if they just controlled their opponent's jungle out there, had a line of vision down here so they knew if anybody was coming out that way, they would have 80% of their opponent's potential farm covered, right? They would know where their opponents were. They would force out an engagement where the Echo Slam is not very valuable, out away from the lane. They force out that engagement while their Spectre can be down here just free farming the entire jungle and just come in with the Haunt. And if McGill do move into them, they at least come in at a disadvantage. And at best, it means CMU is going to be able to take a fight and go into Roshan, right? So that seems to be the play, but instead they're kind of letting McGill run amok around the map and get a lot of farm on multiple heroes. Ideally, you want to make sure that only the Alchemist is getting farm.
CMU still with the XP lead, the goal lead on McGill's side of the map to that Alchemist. Meanwhile, Earthshaker does what he's been doing this whole game, gets a big initiation combo with the assist from the Ancient Apparition, and is able to just eradicate that Undying, who is such a force early on. And that goes a little bit towards that statistic you showed us a little bit earlier from our stats guys, the fact that Undyings who get fast Agceptors tend not to win games. And it seems like CMU is getting dangerously close to a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah, it's all about that windowing. Same thing with the Alchemist. They need to make sure that they're using that, especially in that build by itself is really dangerous into an Ancient Apparition just because of the nature of Ice Blast. You can make it useless, right? The Winter Wyvern also has been perpetually casting Cold Embrace into that Ice Blast, which all that does is hold a hero still while he's not healing. It does nothing to help your team when you do that, but it's a hard habit to break.
All right, now we do see that the Alchemist is 6 slotted, so the next bit of gold after buyback should be going into, never mind, it's not going to. He's going to get an Abyssal Blade and finishes that one up. What did he get rid of? Oh, he handed off a bottle, maybe? Good Night comes in, saves the Ancient Apparition, and TPs to safety.
Well, no, maybe not save. There we go. Very close, though.
Yeah, good save by the Nagasira. Yeah, McGill comes in, McGill goes down. I guess he came to help, but everyone else got out. They're like, we're safe now. What are you doing? Big Ancient Apparition ultimate. That guy hits him like it's his job. A little tough because he's only level 9, so all it does is tickle the guys on CMU at this point. But it's still, you know, his accuracy has been incredibly high.
Yeah, no, I think this Ancient Apparition is MVP of McGill right now, to be honest. So, with a close second being this Earthshaker. The cores are splashing a ton of damage, and they look like they're doing a whole bunch, and they are. I don't mean to take anything away from them, but that's the nature of their heroes. AA and Earthshaker have been making opportunities where opportunities don't exist.
Earthshaker comes in, gets a triple Fisher. Immediately CMU's got to back away. They don't know what's coming, and here it is. YCJ and the rest of the crew. Stun comes out from the Alchemist, locks up Spider. Spider will drop down. Derek Yan taking some damage from the Radiance. In comes Good Night from behind. We'll lock Derek Yan up. Derek Yan will go down. Beavis now trying to make his out. Heal, escape with the blink. Malum drops low, but he's got to go. Kim Jong-il walks through the trees, and now McGill should be able to get the Aegis without an issue.
This feels a lot like...
And then YCJ goes to the top because he's a jerk face.
It feels a lot like CMU. That's actually a really good call. Look
it's brilliant.
Between that tower.
It's just frustrating.
It feels a lot like CMU took all of the dice that would go into a Yahtzee, but instead of just laying them on the table, they threw them into a cup and keep shaking it out and seeing what comes out. They are not doing things in the proper order for a win.
And so far, it has not worked out. YCJ's got a Chrysalis and a Boots of Travel on the ground right now. I'm not really sure what he was doing there.
So I missed this, but Ancient Apparition does have the Ags now.
Okay, so the upgrade went to him. He is officially level 11, so that sort of went hand in hand there. He also has a Hand of Midas recipe you might be interested in.
This is too late. You're not going to get the levels to warrant that. If this game goes long enough, something has gone terribly wrong, right? Alchemist has now officially gotten the second one out because he can farm so fast and he's 6 slotted, so he's got nothing else to do except say buyback, which he should be doing, but he's not.
But like, what else? What do you buy as the Ancient Apparition if you already got your eggs up and
Cyclone Staff?
Fair.
Staff.
Good point.
Possibly Medallion of Courage if you're going to be that close.
Any number of things that are better.
Right. The Cyclone Staff is actually great up against the Spectre, who can be quite maneuverable.
Right.
As you throw down the Cold Feet, throw the Cyclone up, and then he can't use his ultimate.
Oh, YCJ. Why? I heard his name's actually CJ, and that's why he picked that name.
Well, why indeed?
Exactly. You know? Positioning, impressive. McGill, 10,000 gold advantage to their overall net worth.
All of it entirely, 100% of that is on the Alchemist.
But they have pulled back the XP significantly. It's down to 2,000 from over 10. Meanwhile, we do see Undying get kicked out by the Alchemist, who gets a kill and then TPs to safety immediately. Push on the top lane from CMU with a touch of desperation to their voice. On the bottom, the Boots of Traveler are used by Small Plays, and he's going to lead a charge right down there. And the guys from CMU have to decide, do we go back and defend? They have to, because that Alchemist will take the tower a lot faster, I think, than the 4 of them pushing in to the guys from McGill would be able to do so. So Kim Jong comes back, forces Small Plays away. He will back off comfortably. The push on the top completely peters out and forces a slow rotation from the rest of the crew.
Yeah, the CMU is seemingly recognizing that this might go against their way. The Queen of Pain is starting to build into some AoE damage with the Maelstrom in case they get Mega'd, I assume. That's not going to help them push a tower as much as something like a Desolator would, but it is a much better insurance policy against playing into Megas for a long time, which, if they continue to make the sort of choices that they've been making, even if they don't continue to make the sort of choices at this point, it might be on the horizon.
It's worth noting that I believe Venom, the player who's usually playing with CMU, is in Twitch chat taunting CMU at this particular moment in time.
Pretty hilarious.
All right, so let's take a look at items just out of curiosity on the side of CMU, who started this game so gosh darn strong. That Spectre is beefy. He's got the Heart of Trask. He's got the Butterfly. He's got the Radiance. Queen of Pain has farmed very well in this game. Maelstrom, Ags, Lincolns, Hexstick. I mean, there's 3 Ag Scepters up on the side of CMU. So poor they are not. Why aren't they able to really take the push and finish this game?
It comes down to the fact that they don't have any uphill control. They don't have any crunch point control. They have the Lich ult, but that does not give them choke point potential because they can't control it in a lane, right? It just keeps bouncing indefinitely. It'll hit creeps or whatever. This is a dead Ember, I think.
Oh my, Ember in some trouble. Big rotations, and it's funny because Alk saw it coming and he got away.
Yeah, Ember looked like he was going to get away, but then he decided, backdoor protection or no, I'm going to chunk away on this melee Barris a little bit more.
I think that maybe they should. I think that McGill is in a good shape. They just need to make an arrangement that Ember needs to listen. YCJ needs to go along with them when they make a call.
Okay, 6,100 gold on Alchemist at this point in time. He should buy the Ember in Ags.
Yep.
Just so that the Ember has the stats. He should cast an Ags on himself. Moonshard, right? Like, he's getting to the point where he's almost out of things he can possibly buy. I almost think he should just stop farming and let somebody else get all of these creeps, other than the fact that they need to keep their lanes pushed out.
So he officially has the Moonshard on himself now. It looks like Ember, no eggs. Did he buy an Egg Scepter for somebody?
Everybody except Ember has one. Everybody except Ember and Alk has one.
And Shaker.
Oh, does Shaker not have one?
No,
oh,
Shaker
wow.
does not.
That actually surprises me a bit. Okay, I thought he had one, but I guess he doesn't.
It would be nice to. I think that'll be the next one.
Yeah, it will be. I don't know. The question is, does that extra damage give you more than survivability on the Ember Spear? I think the answer to that is yes.
Yeah. I think honestly, I think an Ags on the Shaker is more powerful than the Moonshard usage on the Alk would have been.
I think so too. I think the Ags on the Shaker would probably be the call.
They put the Ags on the Naga.
Already nary unkillable unless CMU is completely focused on. So try to get the rest of your team to stand up for longer and do more, so that CMU can never completely focus on.
Wow, Ember's farm is brutal.
Yeah, he's not been having the best game. He's not been making the best decisions either, though, to be honest, and not to be brutal, but he has been in several situations that were, spaghetti-o moments. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, easy to do on an Ember. I think he's one of those heroes that judgment is paramount and can easily go both ways. Pays off for aggression, but also costs dividends if you cannot execute it just right. McGill, by the way, has lost a huge portion of that gold lead. They're down to 6,000. XP is in CMU's favor significantly again, up to 10. And it looks like Small Plays is going to have to put some effort into killing the Spectre illusions to try and keep his team alive. He will stun himself, but he's too tanky. It doesn't really matter at this point, and he'll bounce right back out of that.
Yeah, Spectre can keep kind of sonaring out like that. She doesn't need to have her roll up all the time, especially if she is back at the base already. But I don't know what you do to get in on McGill here other than get a couple of really good picks, and McGill's been strong about making sure that they are, with the exception of YCJ, who has been out a couple of times. The rest of McGill has been really strong about kind of hanging in the base, and they do have heroes that can do that. Naga Siren can farm safely from the base. Alk can obviously go out safely from the base. Earthshaker doesn't really need anything that he doesn't have at this point. He's going Crit Shaker, by the way, instead of getting the amplification for the magic damage, which I expected. So that'll be interesting. Crit Shaker instead of Veil of Discord. It works with the negative armor. It doesn't work for the AoE, and especially for the high ground defense. It's not quite as good, but we'll see.
He does have the Ag Scepter now, by the way, as they look like they're going to rotate down on Kim Jong. They want to try to make a move on him. He gets out just before the engagement. Good Night going to go ahead and chase him into the woods. And a nice juke around by Kim Jong buys him some space to get out of what could have been a very sticky situation. Pushed down the bottom by Small Plays in the crew as they start to continue. I don't say they don't start. They continue to lean aggressively on CMU, the early game aggressors. Now, is the danger coming? Because now we see Small Plays got way ahead on the Alchemist. He's bought Ags for his team. He's got the Moon Shard applied to him. He's level 25. At what point does it become too long in this game and CMU retakes the advantage?
15 minutes ago.
That's what I thought.
This is, especially with dire side access to Roshan, this is not a situation where you can really handle the Alchemist. CMU also, oh boy, they are potentially...
Big apparition hits, big jump from Goodnight from behind, and he puts that guy to sleep as now we see the chase from Small Plays. Good stun there, puts a little bit of space out. Goodnight's got to run. Small Plays comes in, but the whole crew is in town. Kim Jong going after... Sorry, Earthshaker ends up finishing while Small Plays pops his ultimate, but the entire team is there, and they're going to get him down. That's a big kill for CMU. YCJ now comes in, gets caught by Kim Jong-il, has no escape. He's got to run, throws a remnant, but he throws it into the group because he wants to come back and fight after the Siren Song ends, potentially. They're pinging it out, saying, look, 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 he might come back here, but I assume that he's not going to take that jump.
He wasn't sure if his team was going to re-engage or
Yeah.
not because the Alchemist fought back. They were probably having an active discussion about how much that Alchemist can do with the Wyvern ult potentially coming out. They don't know if there's a buyback potential on that Wyvern. It would be pretty risky to run in as a group with all of their ultimates down.
And that is
I think they made the right call. The buyback was probably unnecessary, but... Yeah.
That is an official full-slotted Alk. He has nowhere else to put his gold right now. There are officially Ags on everyone.
And Ags.
I guess, no, Ember Spirit also is allowed to have an
Ember
Ags.
Spirit could get the stats from the Ags as well.
True,
yeah,
true.
That's right.
All right, so, you know, he's got a little ways to go, but...
He's got about 8,400 gold left of stuff to buy and then wards. He's got nothing else.
And CMU in firm control of the XP again, as they do have that Spectre and that Quap. Both looking very good as they hit the max level themselves. And CMU continuing to get stronger and stronger. Mjolnir now up on Beavis. What else do we have? We've got Spectre.
Spectre might want to consider Mjolnir himself because they may be going up against Megas pretty soon.
He's going to get himself a Scotty instead at the moment.
I don't think that's the play. To be honest, the single target nature of that means that if they do get racks, they're in big trouble.
Now in comes Kim Jong. He's going to get caught by Small Plays, or is Small Plays going to get caught by him? Pops up the TP. They don't have a way to lock him in space. Lich had the ulti, but chose not to use it.
Yeah. That would have been a tough call on that ult, because that Alk might not have died anyway. He may have just been able to walk away with all of the regen he has. Very difficult call. Probably blow it on that, but... I can respect his decision to hold on to it if they are going to try and do something around the Roche pit soon, which I assume they are.
In they go. Beavis is going to get stunned by Goodnight. Chases him back. YCJ is there as well. In the jungle is Jaeger. So it is a lot of them. And they catch YCJ, come through, use the Hex Stick, lock him in place, but he jumps just in time. Dodges the ultimate, goes in, and Roche tries to finish the job. Can't do it. Ember will go down to Spectre. Immediately buys back. Felt a little ragey to me. Unless they're going to come in and try to stop this Roche. He comes in right away, does some distraction, but he's caught alone. The rest of his team was backing out. In comes the Apparition Ball. It's going to catch 3 with a nice play. Big Earthshaker initiation. Catches Beavis and the posse. YCJ still alive. Kim Jong wants to make the chase. Gets himself up some invisibility. Tries to close the deal. YCJ looking around. He is in some trouble. Will go down, but the stun comes out. Kim Jong going to survive it. It looks like. No, he can't. He gets stunned. Has to stick around. Small Plays and Goodnight putting in some serious work. Beavis dropping very, very low. That's a rampage for Dr. Small Plays, and Malum has to crawl on his hands and knees to try and get to safety. TP will come out. Jaeger cannot stop him, and everyone goes back to lick their wounds except Small Plays, who can heal himself like a boss, goes straight down and starts to pelt into this tower. We see Spectre buy back. TP's cancels it. Now he's going to walk in the slow way as they try to harass him, but Small Plays putting in the work, has the Manta up, going to save that for a disjoint. Stun available, throws it out on Kim Jong, will pop the ultimate for regen in just a second here. Jaeger there to help out, has his ultimate available, and they get the melee racks. out of that transfer. Small plays disappears. Kim Jong couldn't do anything about it. And that was some great plays, but again, key to the match, and I got to give this Roche engagement to keep McGill alive, 100% to Earthshaker's initiation.
Yeah, and Winter Wyvern's decision to use the Winter's Curse, or not, no, the Winter's Curse was good for the Ember Spirit. The Chain Frost onto the Ember Spirit was painful to watch. He missed a potential kill on the Alchemist to save that for the Roshan.
Right.
And then had a no bounce on a guy who was already under the Winter's Curse. That seemed... I still don't know what the intended goal of that was. To be honest.
I'm gonna say it was.
Sure.
I'm gonna say it was a panic play as people start. Like, I mean, at the moment it was casting. That was the same time that Earthshaker was making his move, right? So you start to see a lot of health drop. You see a lot of things going crazy. You throw it out.
On a completely separate side of the map, though. The Earthshaker did it over here, and the three of them were over there. So
gotcha. Well,
I
was trying. I tried, Lich. I tried. Gold leads back in McGill's favor after that exchange significantly. XP, and this is the big one for me. Look at this. The XP lead was at 12,000, and it's back to 0 as that last engagement allowed everyone sort of to get caught up. Ancient Apparition is level 13, so he's the baby of the group at the moment, but that means he's closer to that 16 ultimate, and the way that he's been hitting it, that's going to be pretty valuable for them. As speaking of, in it comes, catches 2, big stun from the Elf, but not enough as the Force Staff gets that Wyvern to safety. Down comes the Tombstone, down goes the Tombstone. Small play is going to go ham mode. Kim Jong comes in, the whole crew comes in. There's no backup for small plays. He's going to go down.
He doesn't have a buyback. He should not have been pushing that aggressively with himself and not his illusions with no buyback. His team's got to be kicking him right now for that. That by itself was worth 2,500 gold too. That's not a small mistake. That probably just cost him the game.
Yeah, it did. Holy cow, that's a lot. That's a lot.
There's going to be a Siren Song stall attempt here, and then a potential engagement.
Earthshaker, Ancient Apparition, everybody's going to go in and try to slow what they can. The Ancient Apparition only hits 1, though, but for fear of the re-engagement, we see it back. Kim Jong comes in. He wants to re-engage. YCJ caught beautifully by that Winter Wyvern getting low. He's going to jump to safety on the back of a Naga Siren Song that's a stall plus a save, so we got a twofer on that one. In comes Good Night, hits a massive Echo Slam. That egg's paying off in dividends, and now he's got to try to jump to safety as Kim Jong is just so tanky, and that's Scotty putting in some serious work. Here comes YCJ jumping around. Good Night and Derek Lynn going head-to-head. Good Night's going to drop, but so is Derek. He's got that Aegis. He's coming back up. We lost the Ancient Apparition. It's a 3 for 3 as he comes back. Good Night jumps to safety. Lands on Kim Jong, who's just too gosh darn tanky. No Alchemist to bring him down. Ancient Apparition hits with the ultimate, but all it's going to do is convince Kim Jong that maybe he needs to back away. Derek Yan gets those boots of travels up, comes right back into the fray, but the rest of his team says we're done, Zo, and they all back away, allowing Alchemist a little more time to respawn. That said, YCJ down for 70 seconds with no buyback.
McGill really need another form of negative armor other than the Alchemist, because when and if he is dead, they have no way to kill the Undying. He is their only way because of all the negative armor that comes out, with the exception of a very nice Ice Blast and a lot of heavy focus.
Kim Jong is going to try again to get inside of here. Gets caught inside of the Icy Feet. Here comes the ultimate. It is going to pop him. That tempts engagement, but he's just so tanky. He moves away, goes back to hitting the tower, and will take it down. And McGill showing that even with the Alchemist threat coming back, they cannot keep their heroes alive. Down goes the Ancient Apparition. No buyback on him. Jaeger will go down as well, as will the mid-Rax. Alchemist is going to engage, but he's got to do it by himself. Here he comes. Pops the ultimate. He's going to go. He got the stun up. Wants to make the play. Beavis, he throws it at the Lincoln Sphere target. It gets canceled out. And now all they can do is stop the grave and try to buy a little bit of space, in which he does. But now he's chasing out very, very deep. Fortunately for him, the rest of the team left Derek Yan to his own devices. But Derek plays the vision game, gets him to stun himself, and Kim Jong wraps back around. Nice double stun from the Earthshaker. That Fisher stun was a beautiful action to get small plays out of what was about to be his demise.
The decision to not re-engage there by CMU seemed panicky to me. I don't know how you feel about that. Seemed like they saw the big bad wolf and they went to running when they were in a brick house.
And then they decided it was to re-engage. I think it would have worked out beautifully, but again, that Earthshaker was just in the right spot to slow down the momentum of CMU's engagements.
I didn't realize the Divine was out. That'll lead to a bit of panic if you think you might die with the Divine into an Alchemist.
That's a fair point.
Yeah, that's the panic moment. So that's what they were trying to avoid. They still need some sort of negative armor that is not on the Alchemist, so they don't really have any to speak of. They have a Solar Crest, a single Solar Crest, when Undying is sitting on top of 26 armor.
Mm-hmm.
So the Solar Crest is a drop in the bucket. They need a Desolator or something else to stack on that just to be able to kill him if the Alchemist isn't around.
Right.
He's really easy to kill with the Alchemist around. He cannot stand up with the Alchemist around, but other than that, they can't handle him.
All right, let's go back to the mid position where the Boots of Travel being utilized by YCJ here, the only man without an Egg Scepter. In comes Beavis, wants to go on Good Night. Big Ancient Apparition, it's going to hit a couple, but YCJ pretty low. Naga Siren had to ulti to save him, which negated the Ancient Apparition shot. And now they want to keep the chase going on YCJ. We see the throw out by the Lich, trying to get the stun on Jaeger. Jaeger going to go around, gets hit from behind by Kim Jong. That'll be a dead Naga. 65 seconds until he returns. Can they push the high ground is the question, as they've been trying to do this for a while now.
Yeah, they should be able to here, unless there's a really good engagement from McGill. Like, we're talking perfect Ice Blast and Echo Slam, which is possible, but look how quickly this Rax will drop.
In they go, start to make the attack. Small Play is going to get hit immediately by the Winter Werv and taking a ton of damage. Echo Slam's going to come out, but not everyone was there. A bit of mispositioning. Good Night does hit a triple Fisher, though, to buy some space. Small Plays has some time to regen. He's going to get hit with the Hex. He drops down. Moon Panda drops. Good Night's going to drop, and I would imagine that the GG will come out as well. Divine.
Oh, there's buybacks. They're going to fight this out.
Divine goes down, is picked back up by the Werven, who's trying to get away with it, but he's stunned. This Divine will stay. Ooh, can they finish the job, boys?
Stay here.
Small Plays can't get to him. Small Plays going to get to him. So now the Rapier will go down. It lands on the ground. It's going to get picked up by the Earth Shaker, who's going to be the super crit shaker going forward.
Yeah, he didn't get the crit, but he's got everything but
for
the crit shaker build.
Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
400. Okay, so a total of what, 568 attack damage multiplied by 400%.
Right.
What?
That should be interesting. Huh. I'm curious once this goes. 400%. Jeez, man. All right, let's see what happens next.
So to be fair though, the Divine Rapier isn't going to be factored in that 400%. Only the base damage is, right? So that 400% is on the 150. The 418 is added after. I didn't mean to. I know I'm going to get flagged in chat for saying that, but you're still talking about almost 1,000 damage.
In comes the TP from Small Plays. TP straight to Good Night. Fisher's going to come out. Kim Jong will just TP away. No, he won't. He gets locked in place because Beavis comes in and wants to make the fight happen. PhD pops his ultimate, goes ham on Beavis. Beavis will drop down. Kim Jong thought they could survive. It's not going to happen, though. Now he's got to pop that TP again. And now he gets stunned by a nice play from Good Night. Good Night on the wraparound. The follow-up stun from Small Plays. This could be the end of Kim Jong. He does not have a buyback.
Whoops!
Spider going to come out. He goes invis. TPs to safety immediately. But Small Play is going to push the buyback forced on the Quap to try and stop the chaos that is about to break loose here, as there is no Spectre. Here's my question for you, though. I was curious about the Ag Scepter pickup on Alchemist versus, say, selling the Manta and getting something like a Heart of Trask at this stage of the game.
I don't know that the Heart's going to... Oh, we're going to have big engagement here.
All right, so big engagement. YCJ and Small Plays going to hit pretty hard by Beavis. They're going to go on YCJ and Small Plays at the same time. Wow. Split the damage and still take both down. Ancient Apparition hits his disco ball, but not soon enough. Malum dropping low. Malum, nope.
Yep, there it is.
He popped that spell damage resist, hoping and praying. Beavis will survive, I think, just barely.
Yeah,
Skin of his teeth.
I'm not sure that spell damage resistance is going to be all right when you're 40 damage away from dying and you've got 17 seconds left.
You hope, man. You hope and pray. That's all you can do in this game. Derek Yan wraps around, goes in on Good Night. Good Night just punches him in the face and said, "What are you even doing here?" Malon's going to come in. He's got Beavis to help. They're going to use the Hex Stick. This is why they came in, to slow down Good Night. Good Night gets that Force Staff, tries to jump to safety, chase from Beavis. Beavis putting out some damage, slows him down. Good Night's got nowhere to go. Divine Rapier on the ground. Hashtag clown shoes, baby. And they're pinging it out saying who wants it, and they'll just guard it for 36 seconds till the Spectre comes back up.
Yeah, why not? Nobody's going to be coming to get it. Well, I know why not, because their Ancient is under attack.
Ah. Oh, yeah, there you go.
Got to go back and handle that, but so they can't guard it. If the Emperor Spirit could ostensibly come in, so yeah, they are going to pick it up. Who grabbed that?
It looked like...
Did somebody grab it? Nobody grabbed it. Where
No,
is
it's there. Basically, what's happening is Queen pushed the lane so that they couldn't TP down here to try and get their hands on it, and now she'll be able to drop back.
But it doesn't matter because there's going to be the Naga Siren coming in under Invis of Glimmer Cape to try and snag it. He's going to song. He's going to blink. He sees it. He drops the gem, I assume. No, the Solar Crest.
What? Why not the gem? Now he runs, but Beavis is here. The Siren Song has ended. He gives his life, loses a Solar Crest to a deny, presumably, and gives the Divine Rapier to Kim Jong. So, questionable stuff here. The Solar Crest, by the way, not denied, just left on the ground.
Did we walk into a Globetrotters Dota situation that
No
we weren't
idea.
alerted? Like this is all pre-planned and it's all about the showmanship or something? Because what was that call? To go in without a TP there.
No TP, that's the key.
Should have left the
Had a blink dagger. He could have blinked to safety and TP'd away with the Divine
in,
Rapier.
to be fair. He did blink in,
that's
so
true.
it was on cooldown, and he did use the Force Staff, but he could have left the Glimmer Cape maybe at home, or the Gem at home, so he could have had a TP, could have TP'd out. He needed to have 2 empty slots there, one for the Divine and one for a TP. Otherwise, there's no point in even trying.
What is happening? This is it, Clowny. I think Clowny. That's a good way to find it. Here comes an engagement though. This could be it. YCJ goes in to try and slow him down. Derek Yan comes in, makes the follow. They get him down. Out comes the Ancient Apparition. Disco Ball is going to catch one, but not enough. Ulti from the Lich again. Only catches one target, but maybe to buy him enough time as they go on small plays. He's going to get burnt down by Beavis, who's been very strong. In comes Good Night. He gets a huge Echo Slam, but going to get rock stock and dropped by Malum, who does a nice play to burn him down. Jaeger standing, Moon Panda dying, and Jaeger's going to be the last man to go down to make it a 5-man wipe. The GG comes out from McGill, and that will be the end of the game as CMU takes the first match in this best of 3 at 64 minutes. McGill tried to come back, but as you said, 15 minutes too late, they started their push, and CMU was able to get back online and make them pay for picking the Alk. My name is Toffees. You can find me at Toffees TV over on Twitter, and I'm joined here by my co-caster. Where can these folks find you?
You guys can find me over at The Wonder Cow on Twitter.
I'm
still laughing at this game, man.
Well, we got another one, so let's see how that one goes. This is the Collegiate Star League Tuesday night fights matchup between CMU and McGill University. Join us every Tuesday and Thursday as we bring you the tournament that has $15,000 in scholarship funds on the line and a trip to a LAN. It's a great experience, great way for these collegiate players to sort of whet their appetite and see if they've got what it takes to move to the pros. I know that the LAN final last year was scouted pretty aggressively by some big recruiters. So I look forward to seeing what teams have for us in store. Keep in mind, guys, we run through the entire year. We're going to take a break over Christmas and then come right back and push all the way through to May. So get on the CSL train while it's still indie, while it's still low-key, while you can still be a hipster, so you're not called lame later on. Stick around. We've got more music, and we'll talk to you in Twitch chat as we wait for the next game to get underway. My name's Toffees, and as always, I'm out.
I've got this space inside my heart, and I need you to patch me up. I feel lost, I feel lost. Will you be my love? 'Cause I need you. first time you were in my life, for the first time, I can't sleep easy from the first time you were in my life, for the first time, I can't sleep easy from the first time you were in my life, for the first time, I can't sleep easy from the first time you were in my life. Sleep easy. Sleep easy. Sleep easy. Sleep easy. Have you ever gotten so lost in the dark that you forget who you really are? Have you ever wondered so much for the end that you forget how it begins? It's the look in your eyes when you look at me, when I touch your heart and I feel it beat, when I brush my hand up against your face to wipe your tears clean. It's not the end,
Good evening and welcome back to the CSL Tuesday Night Fights. My name's Toffees, bringing the action here as always. You can find me at Toffees TV, and I'm joined by my co-caster, my partner in crime from season's beginning to season's end. Here with me every single week, that's Gorgon the Wonder Cow. How are you doing tonight?
My brain with work. No, last game. What?
Yep. No, I mean, if you are just joining us, you just happen to be watching this VOD and chose this one over game one for some reason.
Just go back and I don't know enough about this game coming up to tell you for sure you should go back and watch game one. But you should go back and watch.
I don't even know if I want to tell you to go back and watch game one unless you're willing to sit down, have a beer, and maybe laugh a lot. Because it's not. I don't know if I would say game of the week, but definitely interesting. Absolutely, that's a good way to define it. So that said, though, this draft going a heck of a lot faster than that last game, and we're gonna see a Lich, a Tusk, and a Darkseer grabbed by CMU, Shadow Fiend, a Wervin, and a Juggernaut picked up. On the opposite side, this is McGill University, who chose, I guess they forgot to put their name down for me, so they won't be branded. They've got a couple people with the tags, so at least that's something for us. Ancient Apparition banned out. We've got the Space Cow gone again, and Doom and Dazzle. So not a lot of the heroes banned. I would say no respect bans, besides maybe the Ancient Apparition, though I have a hard time believing that's why they banned him out.
Well, they were also the ones who used them last time.
Right.
So it seems pretty unlikely that that's the case. So they obviously saw the power of that Ancient Apparition. It's turned the game for them so many times last round that why would you give that to your opponents, especially if you're clearly going for a healing-oriented squad. You have the Healing Ward, you do have the Cold Embrace, and you already have a good chunk of negative armor coming out of the Shadow Fiend, so you probably don't need to get the AA yourself.
So Zeus is picked up by CMU. CMU looks like maybe they want to go and study for some exams and try to move quickly in this game. It's not a lot. They have some push in the form of the Darkseer and the Zeus. They don't have a ton of tower damage though at this point, but they do have some real pace that they can take this early game very, very aggressively. Disruptor going to get picked up by Radiant, presumably a little bit of more control as they've got the Juggernaut, the Shadow Fiend. They're going to be looking to really keep folks locked into that engagement locations. And Disruptor's a great hero for that.
Yeah, he is. I like this Disruptor a lot more than I liked the Disruptor last week that we saw with the Tuskar and Spirit Breaker combo. I think it looks like CMU is planning on picking up a Gyrocopter here, is what I would expect coming out of them. I don't know if I love that pick in this draft, but it's okay. As far as we go for McGill, they have options fairly well open. They are going to get an offlaner, I assume. They could go for a Night Stalker to restrict that vision. I think more likely we will see a reprisal on that Ember Spirit, or excuse me, the Earthshaker. It worked out really well for them last time, and that player clearly knows what he's doing on the hero. He felt pretty comfortable last time, had a really good laning phase, all things considered. That seems to be the picks for me. They are going to be afraid of that potential Night Stalker that I mentioned, so they will ban that. And I assume that that's the Earthshaker.
There's the gyro. And
Clockwork.
So we mean Clockwork.
2 out of 3. I'll take 2 out of 3.
So Clockwork obviously going to be a great setup to sort of allow Disruptor to get that ultimate utilized in the kinetic field comfortably. Disruptor also worth noting going to be a real problem for that Darkseer during the laning phase, because if they do use any sort of aggression, try to make a play on the Darkseer, he depends on that surge to get away. Disruptor is absolutely perfect for making sure that if he is caught out, he will not escape.
Yeah, Clockwork is a dangerous hero when you're playing up against a Darkseer though, because Clockwork goes in, throws down the cogs, separates CMU, and then CMU takes all of their opponents and jams them into those cogs and then puts their call down, right? That's dangerous. That's always a dangerous potential interaction that you have to worry about.
All right, that said, let's do some quick introductions for these two teams. I'll give you the Dire this time around, and I will take the Radiant.
Look at you. All right, I'm going to go ahead and say that Beavis is keeping it electric on that Zeus. Spider is chilling out on the Tusk. Malum is going to be making it icy on the Lich. Kim Jong-il is flying around on that Gyrocopter. And here for the offlane, it's Derek Yan speeding around. on the Darkseer.
Quick introductions for the Radiant side. McGill University, Moon Panda, who had a tough game last time but played very well despite that, will be on the Disruptor. We're going to have Jaeger on the Winter Wervin. Behind them, we're going to have Small Plays, PhD on the Juggernaut. We're going to have YCJ playing a much tankier hero than last time in the form of the Shadow Fiend. And last but not least, we have the most immature player on the squad, Ice Frog, playing the Clockwork, who thinks that it is fun to use stupid names. Now we see Gyrocopter on the chase for YCJ, going to push him backwards off of the rune. Rotation from Ice, and he's going to have to actually back away as he would have caught himself in a tough position. YCJ taking a lot of damage early on, which actually helped them in this middle position. Ice in some trouble now as the back. Malum's going to go ahead and find him and just put up some good harass points, make sure it's an easy rune for Beavis to snatch up to get that quick bottle out.
Yep. All things working out, and plus,
shoot.
just for the level, maintaining a level non-disadvantage in that lane is really important.
Sorry about that, guys. I left the overlay up during the introductions, and I feel terrible about it.
Well, you know, nothing happened. You guys didn't miss anything. We said names. Those names were on the screen. Now we're going. I'm defending your honor, Toffees.
I appreciate that. All they really missed out on was me talking about how childish Ice is being. All right, back to the top. I'm going to pull up the last hit tonight chart where we're going to see really the matchup to keep track of. Is there a lane that has to go a certain way for either of these two teams, or is it just going to be an overall which team comes out ahead in the laning phase?
You don't want that Shadow Fiend to get out of control here. More so the Zeus, you don't want to get out of control either, obviously, but the Shadow Fiend comes into this matchup with a huge advantage, at least for this patch, though it's only been played a handful of times this patch. And in addition, Shadow Fiend comes out with a ton of physical damage, which makes him push much faster if he gets a good early game lane. And because of that danger, you want to make sure you're rotating on him pretty frequently.
I just hear a Mario bounce?
Yeah, it's the taunt.
Oh, Beavis is taunting.
Yeah.
I thought maybe your text message or something like that. Beavis taking some damage from YCJ as they go head-to-head pretty aggressively in this lane. Derek Yam being zoned out by Moon Panda, going to get pulled back by that Disruptor, so he counters the Surge fairly effectively. Derek says, all right, that's fine, I'll Ion Shell, see how you feel about that. Yeah, you're going to come in from behind, gets up that flight, wants to chase him in, goes there, force TP by Moon, and they're going to be able to force him back off of the lane. So really a great play for them as he has to, TP's back to the tower. And now he has to play very passively because he doesn't have any mana regen, and he's only got 3 tangos remaining.
Yeah, he does not want to be too far forward. It's dangerous to be at this stage as a Darkseer. The one level of Glimpse is enough to overcome one level of Surge. Right? So you've got to be careful, especially as that Disruptor starts to scale out. And look at this guy just get zoned. Yeah,
it's going to be definitely a tough game for him. Let's see what else we're looking at here in the mid. YCJ.
Let's just rotate it over.
Okay. Well, up on top, let's see. Frog in a little bit of trouble. Spider going to go ahead and chase him. It looks like Frog pulled the lane all the way back to his tower. And Kim Jong will go ahead and just creep block and allow almost entirely denies. All right, so he'll get that pushed back. Sorry. Apparently it's I'm a little bit flustered, kind of late tonight. Beavis in the middle lane is doing fairly well up against his Shadow Fiend, 9-5 versus 9-2. YCJ though getting a lot more aggressive as he's starting to really put a lot of harass on Beavis. There's the engagement. Frog now on the run, got the cogs out. Spider just keeps pushing him backwards though, and allowing Kim Jong to get a lot of farm.
Down bottom, there is going to be the kinetic field coming out. The Glimpse is still available if they want it. No Surge for 4 seconds. The Glimpse is still waiting.
Yep, he'll hold it. There it comes.
Waited maybe a bit too long.
Surge will come out, so yeah, I think he was hoping that the Surge would be blown before he had to Glimpse, and Darkseer doing a good job of waiting and holding it, knowing the Glimpse was coming, and then surging himself to safety.
It wasn't holding, like, he blasted it as soon as it came off cooldown.
I want to
but
believe.
Moon Panda didn't realize maybe that it was on cooldown.
I gotcha.
Was waiting for it. Had he casted that earlier, they would have gotten that kill.
Makes sense. Would have put him a lot farther back. All right, so YCJ, let's check back in on the middle position. Actually, Disruptor has disconnected from the game, but there's the pause. Take a little while for both teams to figure that one out. Up on top, Spider and Kim Jong looked like they were getting a little bit cheeky. They're going to back away as Ice has already put up some cogs and will be going out the back door.
Beavis is doing a good job in this lane. He shouldn't be keeping even. And I said this last time too, right? The Alchemist did a pretty good job in his lane, considering he had an unfavorable matchup in terms of getting last hits. At this stage in the game, the Shadow Fiend traditionally would be ahead about 4 last hits. Within the next 30 seconds, traditionally, he would come out about 5 last hits ahead. So around that minute mark.
How does the Disruptor Shadow Fiend tend to synergize traditionally? Is that something we see a lot of, or is it something that we don't see a ton of?
I can't think of any reason why it would be...
Oh, look at that. Stats actually backing us up says that alone Disruptor's 52 and Shadow Fiend's a 55% win rate. Together, they're a whopping 67% win rate. So not too shabby. It seems like they're a good combo.
I was just going to say, I can't think of any reason why it would be a must-pick combo, but they certainly synergize, right? That's the thing. Like, if you have a Shadow Fiend, you don't immediately go, oh, we need a Disruptor for this game. And I'm willing to bet a lot of those games are Disruptor, Shadow Fiend, Darkseer, though our stats man, Mythos, can go maybe check on that at some point if he's got a moment. I'm willing to bet that there's a third hero that is a part of a lot of those interactions.
Makes sense.
If not, maybe not most, but a lot of them. Though, being able to keep people in place is a big part of Shadow Fiend's overall playstyle. He wants to be able to get those Requiem of Souls, but more importantly, he doesn't want to get kited. He wants to get those right clicks out, and he wants to keep people within the presence of the Dark Lord aura.
Right. Now, let's, so it looks like, I mean, the combo seems like it'll be pretty effective. Beavis, by the way, at level 5 here, level 4 on the Shadow Fiend. So Beavis able to get those last hits and sort of keep himself XP relevant because of that Q ability. We see Malum trying to control the rune. He was hoping that he could save it for his mid, but it's not going to happen. Meanwhile, on the bottom lane, Moon Panda under chase by Derek. Derek, not much he can do in lane. He's going to try to make the chase. Here it comes. Oh, Moon tries to bait him into the kinetic field, and Derek sees the Shadow Fiend just in time and turns around and runs away from what was going to be a really tough situation for him. I think Moon maybe threw that kinetic field down just a little bit too soon.
Yeah, it's not usually a good idea to run into a kinetic field blind.
Right, exactly.
Derek Yan is a good
on the high ground, turning a corner in the jungle. He knew that was coming. Derek Yan now going to go back. Where's Moon Panda?
Oh, wow.
Tries to make the play, but where did he send him? Oh, he sent him way far back there. Small plays on the chase. Can he close the deal?
Yeah, they should be able to get this. Oh, no body block.
Goes the body block. Nope, Surge! Surge!
They still should be able to get... No, now the Juggernaut gave up.
Oh, small plays.
Oh, what beauty.
Small plays, big fails. He gave up. He wants to close the deal. He's going to die for it. He's desperate. He gets the kill. He wants to save face, and it works out. Up on top, meanwhile, Ice goes ahead and throws up the cogs, but Spider going to come right out of it. Hits a beautiful shard, and all he can do is change direction and try to run for the trees. Nice juke. Buys some space out. Will that be it? We've got shards coming up. The call down does catch him on the tail end and solidifies the kill. So a good idea by Ice, but not enough to get him out of trouble.
So what you ended up missing there during that glimpse in the bottom, I think, is that Darkseer got glimpsed back to about here. He surged himself and ran south. That's why it looked like he got glimpsed so far, because he actually had the foresight to continue to run into the direction of the glimpse to get farther away from his opponents in south. That almost got him away. It was a really, really nice heads-up play. Didn't end up saving him, but it narrowly avoided that.
Wait a minute. Grammatically, do you say Zeus or Zeus's? If I'm saying Zeus, cast it like Zeus's spell.
Are you talking about the possessive?
Yeah.
Zeus's.
Huh, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
All right. Twitch chat trying to give a grammar lesson. I'm not in college anymore, so I assume that they probably know more than I do. College students.
I don't know what these kids are studying.
I
Right?
don't know what you kids are studying nowadays. Probably like computers and boobies. All right, Ice, you almost got me. You almost got me. I hope so. Ice is going to be in some trouble. Here comes the roll. They move inside, pulls up the call down. It's not going to strike, but forces him back towards their side of the map. Spider and Kim taking a lot of damage from those cog knocked back into tower. Spider gets body blocked inside of the tower. He's going to go down.
Oh, he's fine.
Just barely survives. 60 HP. Actually, really nice plays from Ice to force him to stay under tower longer, get himself out of trouble. I mean, that actually was as good as it could have gone for Ice in that particular gank attempt.
Yeah, he could have gotten the body block out a little bit longer on top server. That's... Oh, wow, Spider. Yeah. That rocket narrowly... There's going to be another rocket attempt on him before he gets to the fountain. 8 seconds. Let's see if he can land it.
Pink just told him start juking, buddy. So he's going to follow that instruction. Goes to the V routing. Where is the rocket? It's off a cooldown in 1 second. Let's see where he shoots it. He's waiting.
He isn't even gonna.
He's not going. He's going to save the mana.
Maybe he's waiting for the fountain. No, he's got to launch it now if he wants it. Yeah, he's gonna let it go.
He decides
What
just
I
to
was
hold the
gonna
mana.
say is, yeah, Ice Frog could have body block just a little bit longer there.
Beavis in some trouble. Kinetic Field's going to come down, but no! He pulls him back out of it. Jaeger's waiting, though. Moves in, gets the body block, moves on Beavis. They finish off Disruptor. YCJ in very deep. Nice move from Kim Jong to come in for the fight. CMU, oh my lord. CMU makes McGill pay in dividends. McGill thought they had the gank, and the age-old Disruptor of why glimpse now, Lord, ends up costing them 3 lives.
Kim Jong-il is going to go into a drums build here, presumably looking to push pretty early. It's an interesting call because they have not been super active up to this point, and they don't have a lot of great ways to knock down. Where's this happening? I hear cogs.
Yep, there's the kills. So basically, Kim Jong was low. Clockwork TP'd in and thought he could get a hook kill, and didn't. And Kim walks away with 30 health, so it was a good attempt. But at the end of the day, CMU takes even more of a lead. Their gold was on Radiant's side not long ago. Now it's 1,000 in their favor. XP is about the same. Beavis has that bottle up as well as his boots, which means that he can really start to rotate and gank if he wants to. What do you like to see built here on the Zeus after they get that boots up? Oh, hold on. Hold that thought. Is small plays. Moves in, catches Kim. Big call out, but he's going to spin to win. Everyone takes damage, but at the end of the day, it's a great pick on a gyrocopter. A really needed kill from McGill, and a questionable rotation coming out of that gyrocopter.
I think the Zeus is going to build the Cyclone Staff.
Mm-hmm.
I suspect that's what he's going to go, just because their team doesn't have a ton of initiation, counter-initiation control. They just have the Tuskar, and that's pretty much it.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't hate seeing a Veil of Discord with the Zeus alongside the Call Down, alongside the Chain Frost. I think that that might actually be a decent mid-game item for him to pick up. It would also give him that survivability that he traditionally lacks.
Ion Shell also becomes absolutely insane if you get the double layer up on the Tusk. So, I mean, I think you're absolutely right. I think there's a lot of potential magic damage initiation. I think Veil of Discord would be phenomenal in this game. And we'll see if he decides to go down that way. Kim Jong comes right back in after he dies. Wanted some vengeance. The hook misses. Kim Jong has call down. Gets cogged back into the trees. He's going to try to juke away. We see Darkseer coming to help, but what can he do? There's the spin to win. Kim Jong's going to be in some trouble. Gets the surge, but body blocks. He's not going to make it out of this one. Or is he? Call down comes out. He ends up dropping, but what can he get for the price? He gets the double on the Juggernaut. Juggernaut very low. Spider trying to finish the job, and they do. So they get a triple for the gyro, and I guess that sort of works out in CMU's favor.
Oh, it definitely works out for CMU's favor. Are you kidding me? That's a 1,300 gold swing and some tower damage if they want it. That's huge.
But when he came in, I think everybody thought it. Twitch thought it. We thought it. You thought it. I thought it. Kim, what are you doing? And it turns out that CMU says, all right, leader, you take us in. We back you up.
Yeah, my big uh-oh there was that Kim decided to hook this way instead of going south into the lane. I felt like if he'd gone south, his Darkseer could catch up, and then he could have initiated with the vacuum and the call down simultaneously. And
they all would have lived.
And they probably all would have lived. That's what that uh-oh was.
Right.
That having been said, it's not like they didn't make the most of the situation, right? They got a huge swing in their favor, and it's got to sting for Radiant side. What that Central Michigan University, right? Yeah. No, like Central Michigan is Dire. It's McGill.
Right.
Sorry. My bad.
So Beavis is sticking to that mid with the Zeus, looking to continue his farm. He has picked up, looks like a Yule Scepter. You called it, you got it. Kim Jong's going to farm this lane as he forces Ice back. Ice can only hide in the trees, and hope for the best as Kim comes through, pushes it down. He's got to get out of tower damage, though, and he will back off. Rocket comes out for a little bit of harass, misses him completely. Now we go to the bottom where we see a rotation by Moon and Dr. Small Playa, PhD, as they look like they want to try to get a pick off here. They're going to move in on the Darkseer. Darkseer pops the surge, but they should be able to glimpse him. He's going to spin. What a play by Tusk. Knocks him down, burns him out, and now Derek is going to have to juke around, but it's not going to work as the ulti comes out from the Juggernaut, but it costs him his life. A Darkseer for a double. They're going to take that, but meanwhile, in the mid position, Zeus was caught out on a nice rotation from Jaeger and McGill. So a 2 for 2 across the board. The fight recap says that it favored CMU.
Yeah, reload that, though, because it will now say that it favored, or rather the other way around.
After the Zeus went down.
Right, after the Zeus went down. it went the way of McGill, and then 731 extra gold went the way of CMU, so it ends up being about even.
All right.
In terms of gold swing.
Gold lead at 1,500 for CMU, XP at about 2,000. Quick item checkup. Drum's going to get wrapped up on Gyrocopter here very soon. We're close to that Yule Scepter on the Zeus. It looks like Lich is going to be building himself. He's picked up the headdress, so I think in this game we're going Pipe of Insight instead of a Mechanism. We'll see. I think that that's going to be a little more beneficial up against that magic combo we talked about earlier.
Wait, you're talking about on the Disruptor? Or,
on the Lich. Yeah.
The Juggernaut and the Shadow Fiend, especially with the physical damage amplification that comes out of presence of the Dark Lord, I think the Mechanism is probably... It also, Mechanism bolsters your push much better because it gives you armor and an aura.
Good
right?
point.
So that you're going to be able to push earlier, which is really what I think CMU are going to have to do because they did go for that Drums build, and Juggernaut is going for the Battle Fury, which means that they want to apply pressure soon.
That makes sense. And as Gorgon just pointed out, Battle Fury going to be done very soon. Fastest pro Battle Fury is 1355. And it looks like our Juggernaut's getting awful close to being able to pull that off.
Yeah, it's not a lot of pressure coming out of CMU, to be honest. They've been doing a bit of pressure up top now. They will get the tower here. But up until this point, their pressure has been very surface of, like, excursions into lanes rather than pounding down towers.
Did you say Central Michigan?
Now that they have the drums, they need to be very engaged.
Did you say Central Michigan?
I did.
That's funny. I thought that too.
I'm from Michigan, so whenever I see CMU, I think Central Michigan.
Right. No, I live in the Midwest in Illinois, and when they sent me the CMU playing McGill, I was like, oh, Central Michigan. I know they had a team, and it's funny. Easy mistake to make. Meanwhile, Derek, speaking of easy mistakes to make, caught in a tough position, pulled back by the Glimpse, and eradicated by the ultimate of the Juggernaut. So he wanted to make sure that kill got secured, picked it up, finished that Battle Fury, and we'll get it up in a very fast pro level farm. Beavis taking a lot of damage. He's going to get hit by those shards. In comes YCJ with a haste rune. Ruh-roh. Down he's going to go, and YCJ should be able to get out before Kim Jong can do too much damage. Call down will come through. Malum will make sure he tries to finish Jaeger. Jaeger goes into the ice block to buy some time. They finish off the gyro, but a big hook shot on McGill. But Ice is here too. He wants to make some moves. Spider dropping very low. He is going to go down. Varus punches Moon Panda, but not fast enough, and it is a 4-man wipe. Again, CMU got caught out, rotated because that's what they're good at, right? Bringing everybody in for these fights. Everybody comes in, but they come in like lambs to a slaughter, and the guys from McGill eradicate 4 to make it 10-10.
Yeah, this is by no means an accurate statement, but that has the feeling of a game-winning fight right there. But you already have the Juggernaut free farming up with the Battle Fury. Your Gyrocopter went for a mid-game build, and you just lost the giant mid-game fight. It's going to be hard for CMU to make the engagements they need to make here if they want to at least have a chance at a mid-game victory instead of going into the super late game where they come in at a pretty sizable disadvantage. And
I will say, the last game, CMU benefited from the fact that McGill tends to play slightly passive. They don't really push aggressively. Okay, hold on 1 second. As Kim Jong comes in, Call Down's going to come out. He goes in very hot, puts in some damage. Gets to Winter Werver, wants to turn back around. Yule Scepter going to buy a little bit of space on YCJ. In comes the roll. Down he goes. Puts out some damage because he had the mastery, but they're going to go. That's a triple for the guys on CMU. As we just said, what can they do? Well, they can come in and they can get themselves a mid-game win to counter the last one that they lost. And now they're going to push down and get this tower.
That was a great use of a drum charge. Like,
yeah,
I can't think of a better reason to use a drum charge than to make sure that you're securing those kills. They're going to get a tower off of it. Like I said, it's by no means the end of the game or anything, though it had the moment, that feel of a very significant swing when you look at the end of the game.
Absolutely. Now, and you look at that. You look at the gold and the XP swing. They lost a lot. They gained half of it back there. Yeah. That said, and what I was trying to say is I think CMU benefited in the last game from the fact that McGill tends to take their foot off the gas. They play a lot more passive. And we saw that with the Alchemists. They farmed, they did their farming, and then they sort of kept playing defensively instead of taking the fight to CMU, which allowed CMU to take the late game. In this match, however, McGill's heroes are very different. If they play that passive game, they will be very, very strong in the late game.
Yeah, this is, like I said, I think CMU comes into this game at a disadvantage in the late game. Not a huge disadvantage because Gyrocopter is a beast, but having the physical damage output that you have for that you have for McGill, and the fact that the Wyvern's ultimate goes so strong into the late
Big
game.
smoke wrap. Spider goes into the roll. It's going to go ahead and try to get the stun up. Walrus Punch will slow down the spin, but the spin is just too strong. Big hook shot costs him the gyrocopter. Ice is going to go down. Big Lich ulti puts in some serious work, and it's going to cost them a 2 for 3 as the guys from CMU spread out as fast as their legs will carry them, and that was just a really good initiation combo. CMU had the drop. They made the move on Juggernaut, who saw the roll coming, and that's the downside of the roll against the Jug, is he was able to get his spin off, came back in, put in a ton of AoE damage, comboed that with the Lich, and there was just not much that the guys could do. They were caught inside, I think, of a kinetic field.
Yeah, that's a pretty good summary. I don't have anything to add to that other than for CMU, that's less than ideal. Right now, they should be winning fights. So even if they're kind of breaking even on fights right now, it's not a great sign, because that gyrocopter, even going a Sanjin Yasha build, which is a more mid-game, tank-oriented build, will start to drop off here in about 4 minutes, maybe even earlier.
Whew, they killed YCJ just before he got his first ulti off, so all he gets the second one, and they're back in. And like you said, gyrocopter, that window for chaos, 13 to about 22 minutes at this level of play.
You think Shadow Fiend is angry?
What did he do? Did he buy back?
He scribbled on the map like this.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's angry. He's mad. They've been doing a good job of just super initiating on him. Spider comes in. He's being a very strong walrus. Went from the phase boot straight to that blink dagger and is causing a lot of trouble on this Tusk, because initiations have been on point. And like we saw, that gyrocopter delivery system in the form of the Tusk Snowball is very potent and it's proving difficult to deal with if the entire team is not there. And that's what happened the first time, right? McGill, every time that they have won a fight over CMU at this stage of the game, it's because McGill has everybody nearby to try and put that counter together. And that's sort of slowing them down a lot.
Yeah, this is also, they're being slowed down by the fact that they do have Battle Fury Jug, which is by the definition of the Battle Fury, right? That is a farming item. It does cleave damage for groups of units. That is an item that you really benefit from when you're attacking down stacks like the kind that he's stealing right now from the gyrocopter. Whoops. No big deal, just a quad stack.
Right. All right, so let's see. Where are we at? Gold lead is almost dead even. XP is at 1,000. We do see the rotation by Small Plays, who's in a dangerous spot up there, but he's going to manage to get out of trouble. But who's not? Derek, as Derek gets caught in a tough position, puts up a vacuum. Big roll from the Tusk, but the silence is out from Disruptor, and that's going to cost 2. Ice dropping very low from the Lich. Kim Jong trying to get away, but here comes YCJ. Decides it is not, the fight is not for him. No, it is. Blinks onto Gyro. Gyro pretty much in some serious trouble here. The Shadow Res misses.
Yeah.
And Kim will escape.
He hit with one of them, at least one. I think he hit with both. I'm not positive, but with the Yasha, Gyrocopter just moves too fast.
Yep.
It's flat out what it is. He's got a move speed of 419 when he surged.
So
not even when he surged, just normal. Excuse me. Normally moves at 419. That's crazy.
Definitely a favorable exchange for the guys at McGill University. And at this stage of the game, if you're picking off those heroes, especially that Tusk, who has gotten a couple of kills recently, it works out in your favor. That said, the game's still really, really close for this stage of the match. Last time we saw the game get close twice, right? Like as we saw the ebb and flow of the two teams. This time, though, it's been pretty standardized, with the exception of that one spike where Radiant pulled way ahead when Gyro first came online. This game has been a fairly even match.
This Jug is making me giggle. He's going in there, no negative armor, no assistance. Yeah, I'll just man mode Roshan, no lifesteal. He's got nothing going for him. Gets knocked down to half health and then leaves the pit in shame. In absolute shame. That was the namesake of Dr. Small Plays.
Item checkup real quick. Sans Yasha on the Juggernaut as well as the Battlefield. I believe you mentioned that already. Looks like a mechanism almost done on the Disruptor. Blade Mail on the Clockwork. Yule's on the Shadow Fiend, which we've seen him use very effectively in this game so far. Gyrocopter picks up the Sans Yasha as well. And Blink Daggers on Tusk and Darkseer. So next engagement, looking like it's going to be in that mid position as Kim Jong is out. The spin going to be let in by Dr. Small Plays. Could backfire as he doesn't have any friends around. Out comes the Walrus Punch. Pops the ultimate, gets a lot of lucky jumps there. does a ton of work. Small plays very low now, but he took out 3 with that engagement. Derek Ryan going to drop down now as well. He got hit by the ultimate from the Shadow Fiend. That's a 5-man wipe as McGill University gets a huge engagement. And really, CMU thought, oh, this Juggernaut's alone. Let's engage on him. Popped his ultimate, and what that did was bought enough space for the rest of McGill to move into position. So that was a beautiful play, organized and illustrated and executed by McGill University.
You never want to move in on a Juggernaut like that when you don't have creeps around, knowing that he's a battlefield. Like, all of CMU grouped up for that splash damage, with the exception of the Tuskar, who ended up going down first, as you mentioned, in a couple of fortunate bounces for the Juggernaut. So Dr. Small Plays was able to knock down everybody basically with that ultimate. That was just poor positioning out of CMU. There's really no other way to say it.
And he also really got his bounces were nice in the sense of they stayed on one hero until that hero was dead and then sort of moved on to the next one, which was really, really fortunate. Now Jagger going to get caught inside of the shard. Spider going to come in on the chase, blinks around, catches McGill with the Walrus Punch. That's the one they'll want to try to get the kill on. Malum, call down. Everyone's here. YCJ turns around, runs the other direction. Big shot from the clock to try and keep them away from YCJ. It's not going to work as YCJ goes down. Now Derek wants to make the chase. Caught inside the cogs, has the ion shell running. Ice gets himself thrown backwards in. Nice engagement. Sorry, Ice, I thought he was in some trouble, but it looks like that Invis might get him out. It's not going to happen. He will go down. Zeus closes the deal. Disruptor tried to save him, but it wasn't enough. And CMU does what they've been doing this entire match. Every time McGill gets a good play and takes him out for 5, they come back and at least take 3 in a counter engagement.
Yeah, but now there is a Bear Axe at least, right? That was too aggressive, I would assert, coming out of McGill. They probably should have taken what they could and fallen back, maybe taken Roshan after the tier 2 instead. A bit safer, harder to re-engage in if you're CNU. But all things said and done, they still do have a Bear Axe to move on now. It's not the end of the world. Oh dear.
Oh dear indeed, as they now chase on Juggernaut. Juggernaut cut in a top position. Ultimate's available. There he goes, turns back around, putting in a lot of work. This is going to hurt. Gets the Lich. And what a bounce!
Yep.
Bounces to safety.
Bounce, that was a blink.
Oh, it was a blink. Beautiful play by him. Okay, Jaeger comes in. He takes some damage, but he wants to keep going. They end up finishing the job on the gyro. Oh, pull back the Zeus into the silence. He goes down, and just like that, they thought it was an easy kill on the Juggernaut. It becomes a 4-man knockout punch by McGill University. Holy shnikes.
Yeah, I don't know what CMU was... Like, they just played that movie, and they went in for double feature. They knew chasing into that Juggernaut, wall grouped up, would lead to almost their whole team getting wrecked from just the ultimate, and any re-engagement from anybody on McGill would lead to a team wipe. They knew that was the case. I know they knew it because I saw them learn the lesson.
CMU. My goodness. McGill saying, all right, we want to take this to 3, boys, as they tear into the melee racks. Engagement. There's the pull on Malum. Malum in some serious trouble as he is caught by a beautiful engagement force staff by Ice. Ice now going to go ahead, put up the Yule Scepter. Nice play by YCJ. Down goes the Darkseer. Down goes the melee racks, and Jug will head right down to the bottom tower. In comes the last man standing. He gets glimpsed backwards and makes it easy for them to get the ranged racks. And here, I don't know what CMU can do to win this game at this point. It feels like there is some trouble right now. Though maybe not. In comes a big roll. It's going to catch Jaeger. Jaeger's going to get low. Ulti from Zeus puts in some work. Big play by the Tusk. He tries to come in and get some work done. Not going to happen. He gets annihilated on the outside on a hook from Ice. Beavis wants to play, and there's the GG. They made the engagement attempt. It did not work out. They picked up the 5-man wipe, and McGill will take game 2. So in 26 minutes, a regular barn burner here. 29-22. McGill comes out ahead of CMU as we move to game 3 of this best-of-3 series here on the Collegiate Star League. That said, guys, my name is Toffs. You can find me at Toffees TV over on Twitter. I'm joined by my co-caster, Gorgon the Wonder Cow. Where can these folks find you?
You can find me over at The Wonder Cow on the wonderful world of Twitter.
And we will be right back. We'll play some music, hang out in Twitch chat if you want to talk to us. If you don't, I can't blame you for that. But we will stick around because there's one more game of Dota still to come. So don't go anywhere. Sit tight. And as always, Toffees out.
everything you love about fall in one mug.
Hey, I'm Eric from Sam Adams.
I got my money stuffed in a jar. I never dreamt of going far, but then you came along. Now I'm begging to belong. I can't give you anything that wasn't free. If love is all you need, then tell me you believe. Baby, I got nothing left to lose. Go on and take my heart, it's right in front of you. Nothing left to lose. I'm gonna make you mine if it's all I ever do. You stole the courage right from my lips. I swore I'd never speak again, but then I caught your name. Now I swear it's all I say. I can't show you anything you haven't seen.
Good evening and welcome back one last time for some Tuesday night CSL. And I say one last time as in the game tonight, not on the permanent, as myself and Gore are going to be bringing you Tuesday night fights in Dota 2 for the Collegiate Star League all the way through May. My name is Toffees. You can find me at Toffees TV, and I am joined here by my co-caster, Gorgon the Wonder Cow. You can find him at the Wonder Cow over on Twitter. This is game 3 of a best of 3 between Carnegie Mellon University and the boys from McGill. This is a scrim as the scheduled match for tonight did have to get canceled due to academic issues. That said, these guys did want to play, and we thought, hey, we're bringing you the Tuesday night fights. Let's bring you some good collegiate Dota, no matter what the context. Now, that said, this is our third game, Gorgon. The first game was clowny. The second game was brutal. What do you expect out of the third game?
I would expect some brutal clowns, the kind that give you nightmares. That's what I'm assuming. They're going to roll in their clown car. 9 people are going to hop out. There will be a meepo. All sorts of nonsense.
I would not surprise me. Now, speaking of all sorts of nonsense, the Ember Spirit and the Tusk picked up. Opposite that's going to be the Broodmother, the Darkseer, and the TA. Now, Brood has been banned in the last 2 games, allowed to go through this time in favor of a Undying Spirit Breaker ban. CMU is going to immediately snatch her up and use her to try and control. Now that, plus a Darkseer in the opposite lane and a Templar Assassin, this is a copious amount of push. Is Tusk and Ember Spirit going to be able to deal with this? I mean, Ember into Broodmother, not bad.
It depends on how good the Broodmother player is. I am unabashedly have said many times, I think Broodmother's kind of a trashy hero. She's the only hero that I actually say that about. She either requires an absolute expert level player, like a mag level player, a professional world-class Broodmother player, or she requires your opponents to just be absolutely unable or unwilling to coordinate in dealing with her. I don't necessarily know that describes McGill. It might describe McGill based on these games, but in the last 10 days, for Broodmother, she's got a 31% win rate, round to 32% win rate in pro games out of 41 games. Like, she doesn't do that well.
And on top of that, you got to pick her up first, which means that your opponents get 4 draft picks, presumably 5, to counter that Broodmother. And honestly, almost everybody on Dire right now has some sort of damage answer to at least slow the Broodmother pushes. That doesn't change the fact that the Darkseer is still there to counter push a different lane. Lich will likely be aiding the Darkseer, I would assume, on his lane, presumably on the bottom, TA in the mid. So what do you pick up as your last support here? Do you get yourself Ancient Apparition still on the board?
Yeah, it is still on the board. I mean, I love that hero. I think it's always a good pick. Very rarely not a good pick.
Especially against a Dazzle and an LC.
Are you asking for
CMU?
CMU? Yeah, they could. They're going to go Bounty Hunter.
Intriguing.
Who cares? Let's play 6.84, boys. It doesn't matter.
Ha!
Templar Assassin, a little modern.
And a Magnus. What?
Magnus makes sense to me.
Okay, so who's Tusk will be support, it looks like.
Yeah.
Intriguing.
Rotating support.
Okay.
Magnus will be mid with
Where's that-
off-lane Legion.
where's
or
that
maybe
bounty
Magnus off
going?
lane. Oh, no, it's Magnus off lane. It's going to be mid Ember, farming Legion, roaming support Tusk, safe lane / stacking Dazzle.
So what do you do with Bounty Hunter in this lineup?
You just roam, just like you did in 6.84. They
Gotcha.
didn't make any super significant changes to
That's
his early
true.
game. They made super significant changes to the amount of vision that he provided, which was a big part of the reason why he got popular in the first place.
Makes sense. So CMU looks like they've got their lineup in place. I will say that the CMU draft looks like they will be able to take some pretty decent team fights early on opposite lanes of Broodmother's push, which could cause some trouble for the McGill guys. McGill's draft, though, I think is very, very strong for this game.
Yeah, I've got no problem with either draft, other than the fact that CMU is kind of dependent on bad or ineffective rotations coming out of McGill, just to make sure that their Broodmother stays in the game, right?
Yep.
So, I don't know. Maybe Kim Jong-il is just a phenomenal Broodmother player for his level of play. I would assume that is the case because of the honor bans that were coming out against him earlier on tonight. So maybe he's super phenomenal, and we won't even second guess why they picked it 15 minutes into this game. But with some good rotations, that Broodmother pick can be extremely harshly punished, especially with a Legion commander who can just kind of farm out dual damage on a Broodmother if she's not careful.
All right, now 44 seconds to go. Both teams staring each other across the abyss. Spider goes in Viz and gets an Ion Shell to provide some early harassment. That's exactly what he'll do as he goes to his opponent's high ground and just follows the Ember Spirit around and says, I'm going to take some free damage here as we zone you guys effectively. Down to the bottom lane where Kim Jong has used his first Spider Web to try and make sure that he gets himself the rune. Well placed. Magnus is going to come in and scout it out, and it looks like TK are going to decide, are we going to engage on this? What is our play here? And honestly, I don't think that Spider, and that's what she says, Kim Jong can't stick around, and they will yield a 1-4-1. Question here is, here's my question, Gorgon.
Yeah.
Had they not sent Spider in with the Ion Shell, do you think CMU could have won that 4-on-4 throwdown on the top lane? Or on the top rune?
I think it's so dependent on execution. From
Is it better to send him in and just secure some damage on the Ember and force them back? Or
Yeah.
would it have been better to try and take that fight?
If you zone out and just get control of a bit of the map, I think that's the way to go, right? If you are pretty sure you'll take an engagement, sure, take the engagement. In that case, I don't think there was any certainty about anything, especially considering the fact that that fight could have very quickly turned into a skewer on the high ground situation if the Bedlam got out of control.
Sorry, Twitch chat got to me. It's not often, but I laughed. Hey, Lolio over there goes, I hate McGill because I couldn't get in. And that made me smile. All right, so the lineups are in place. The lanes are in position. We'll do some quick introductions, and I'm just going to take them all. Oh, here comes the big engagement. They go on the roll for Spider right away. He's in Viz. He's inside of the room or the ward, though, so he will take some damage and now has to back away against this tri-lane. So for the tri-lane, on the top lane for Dire, we're going to have Jagger playing the Tusk. We're going to have Doctor Small Plays PhD on the Ember Spear. We're going to have Moon Panda on the wraparound for the Dazzle. Derek Ryan will be playing the Dark Seer for CMU, and we're going to have Spider playing that rotating, very aggressive Bounty Hunter. Now's the big roll. They go on Derek Ryan again, takes a lot of damage. The heal nuke is there, and the body blocks from small plays are big plays as they get the first blood on the Dark Seer. Down in the mid lane, where we've got YCJ playing the center Magnus for the guys from McGill. Mallo's going to be playing the Lich in the mid, and he is backing up Beavis, who is already very low, and even lower, as he's now got to run backwards, and presumably, he might even just go back to heal up. He gets the salve. Nice play by Malum to keep him relevant in lane. Last but not least, on the bottom, it's going to be Kim Jong-il playing that questionable Broodmother. Want to see how it goes. He's played all of his heroes very well tonight, so look forward to seeing how he handles the Brood on this bottom lane. On the opposite side, for McGill University, TK on the less than popular Legion Commander.
Legion Commander, actually big resurgence in this patch.
Indeed?
Yeah, especially in pub play. Like, maybe not necessarily huge spike in pro play, I don't know off the top of my head, but in pub play, especially first couple weeks of this patch, Legion Commander was one of the top 5 growth in cores.
Oh, well, that's interesting. This is our stat master, by the way, Gorgon. Gets paid to literally study spreadsheets. I love it.
You make me sound so cool. But in the mid lane, we've got YCJ slamming it down on the Magnus. And then in the defensive tri-lane up here, we've got Moon Panda spreading the love on the Dazzle. It is going to be small plays. PhD burning up on that Ember Spirit. And I'm missing Jaeger chilling out on the Tusk.
It's all right. You know, he's hard to catch. He's always doing the snowballs. He's very heighty. And that's how he's playing this time around. It looks like he's really trying to make Derek Yan's life miserable, and so far it's been very, very effective. Derek Yan going to be here alone as the rest of the team has moved out. He says, all right, I'll just use Ion Shell, try to get some farm, try to force small plays back when I can. That's what he's going to do. But immediately the rotation comes out from Jaeger again and Moon Panda. They want to make the move. They've got vision. He's got the snowball. Get ready, because here they go. Surge comes out. He's locked in. Can they ice shard him? It is going to catch. Oh, it's not. Surge is just too strong. Procs him on the outside half of the ice shard, and he bounces to safety. Good initiation, though.
So just a little follow-up on my my statement. Legion Commander is right now in the last month in terms of pub play in the top 10 most played heroes. So she's, in terms of this level of play, she's very popular. In terms of pro play, she does not get seen very much at all.
Right.
But in pub, she's fairly popular.
All right, well, speaking of being seen or not being seen, we see a smoke used by Jaeger and Moon Panda. They're going to move down towards that middle lane, try to get themselves a pick off on yellow. Beavis has picked up a bottle, is going to start to utilize it, and is playing fairly carefully, and it looks like the guys are going to decide it's just not worth it. They head back towards the top lane. McGill's going to go ahead and get that bottle, put it into the, or put the rune into the bottle, and feels pretty good about that. Spider picks up a haste rune, but can he do anything with it? He's trying to decide. Looks like he may go after the Magnus with it. And up to the top, here's where we see Jaeger and Moon Panda immediately coming back. Want to make the engagement. There's the roll. In jumps the healer, and down they go. They make a move on Derek. Derek drops back. He gets caught in the ice shards, has to go the long way around, and he is going to get eradicated. That is just too much damage. Meanwhile, in the mid, McGill putting some serious damage on Spider. Spider's trying to run. Doesn't have vision, though, YCJ. So Spider will be able to hang out fairly close. Almost got hit with the shockwave. A couple of units between life and death there as YCJ tries to get the pickup.
Yeah, I'm really not digging these lanes out of CMU. To be honest, I don't really see what they think they get out of this. The Bounty Hunter not great in an aggressive try, and they've already realized that, rotated him out, but he's not doing much of anything because there's no jungler on the opposition, right? One of the reasons that Bounty Hunter became such a force to be reckoned with is the prevalence of junglers over the last patch. We don't see that nearly as much anymore, and he's not going to be able to just kind of walk in and steal experience and harass out the jungle.
TK wants her, but doesn't have vision. Now he's got to back off as Malum's going to come in and do a little bit of harassment. Kim Jong cannot really afford to engage here, so TK will continue. He goes and gets the duel up. In comes Kim Jong. Not going to be enough. TK doesn't, however, get the damage, so pulled the trigger just a little too soon, and I think it was actually, was there attack slow? No, because he doesn't have anything in Incapacity Bite. Or the mischance, sorry. So, not a lot of help there. I thought maybe the Spider had saved the duel, but it didn't happen.
Legion? Why?
What? LC dead. Man, picked off and given to the Broodmother, who's definitely going to enjoy a little bit of extra gold there. That's, what was she doing?
So she just ran into a group of creeps. I think she was hoping beyond hope, dreaming beyond dreams, that the Broodmother would happen to be in the area for her overwhelming odds, because it would have almost killed Broodmother if it landed on her. So that was the assumption. I I guess, but it was really
So
it was very aggressive for a thing that maybe could have kind of helped get a kill.
If you were curious, in a damage output duel, who does more Flame Guard or Ion Shell, we just saw Flame Guard win that battle pretty aggressively.
Yeah, it's because Flame Guard also defends against the magic.
Right.
Wow! YCJ blowing the reverse polarity and will get a return kill on his certain
Jaeger, Ice Shards for days this guy, pops in and gets a pick off to make it worth their time.
Yeah, really nice rotation coming out of Jaeger.
But that, I mean, do we expect less from CMU? I mean, I'm sorry, that wasn't CMU. That was McGill. I'm not used to the big rotations from McGill. They haven't been doing as much of the rotating as CMU has. So good to see them amping it up.
Rotating heroes either, though.
Rotating heroes?
Rotating, yeah. Heroes that like to go into the tilt-a-whirl. They're very roller coaster.
That is true. That is absolutely true. And if you watch the last game, you will absolutely know that. All right, so Ember Spirit up on the top lane, feeling pretty comfortable by himself. He does have level 6. We've got Bounty Hunter at level 3. Going to utilize that Ion Shell. Get a little farm for himself here. Derek Yan at level 5. Down to, okay, here's the rotation. Moon Panda and Jaeger look like they want to move. Meantime, the mid MC... Magnus gets engaged now, but not enough. Derek dropping low. Here comes the roll from the distance. Tusk is going to catch him and finishes the job.
This dude, Bounty Hunter, will end up securing a kill here, but I've got to say, Jaeger making the plays all over the map. What a dude. On
fire. He's been attacking, dropping bombs out of that snowball, and just finishing the fight. He doesn't even have a Walrus Punch yet. He's basically doing that with his Ice Shard combo. Like, when this Walrus Punch blink comes online, Jaeger is going to go from doing great to completely obliterating. And it looks like he picked up Chainmail instead, actually.
This is how a Tusker really needs to be played to be very successful as well. Like, the really good Tusks go out and make kills happen with heavy rotation very early. That's what we see in high-level professional Dota.
Spider!
Wow, this cheek.
Spider!
Wow.
He goes invis, though. Off he goes.
Hello. Oh, God.
They put it down. They make the move. They catch him in the shackle. Can they finish the job? He's dropping low. Small Plays wants to do it. Cannot finish the rush. Tusk did not get the memo and wasn't there for the roll. Unfortunate.
Finishing the treads out there. She's ahead, right? She's doing all right.
Doing okay. Let's look at net worth. What do we got?
Yeah, what do we have in net worth? I've got last hits up.
All right, so we got Broodmother at the top. Not surprisingly, he's been able to farm pretty effectively down here on the bottom. LC's been trying to fight her, but has been kind of in a losing battle after that loss of life.
That would be surprising me if you told me before the LC died for no reason.
Yep, exactly.
But now that the LC died for no reason, she lost all momentum in this lane.
And Malm doing a lot to really sort of support and keep her off so that Brood can just go ahead and get his farm. It's actually a really nice laning configuration for them there. The TA is doing all right at 3K. Magnus is pretty much tied in terms of mid-farm, has a 100 gold lead, but that's not that much. Though that may change as YCJ looks like he wants to move on Beavis with the help of Jaeger, decides not to make the roll, so they're going to let him back off. Meanwhile, on the bottom lane, I missed it as I was watching, Broodmother gets another kill on the Legion Commander. LC really in some trouble down here on the bottom lane now. They need to make some changes because this is starting to go very, very badly.
Both of those kills, by the way, have been brought about in part, if not in bulk, by Spider's rotation. So Bounty Hunter has been a small part of the damage, but a big part of securing those kills.
Okay, let's see what else we have got here. Let's see, Beavis over in the mid continues to make the farm. We're going to see Magnus go down towards the bottom, try to fill up that bottle, but not before Spider gets there and invisibly takes it in McGill's face. McGill pings and says, Bounty was here. Not much they can do about it, but be frustrated for the Magnus. Beavis comes through, going to bottle up the Invis rune.
He's got a haste, too, so this is the deadliest TA in the world.
This is what we call Rutrow. YCJ is too far forward. He does have Tusk backing him up. That may be a lifesaver as Beavis is going to move in. He's invisible. He's got haste. He's waiting for his chance, but immediately we see YCJ fall backwards. You need to bring purple down as a bait. That's what they do. Malum comes down and shows himself. YCJ smells it out. Looks like he wants to get himself a kill. Beavis waits for him to go to the high ground. He'll make the follow. There's the... Oh, once he saw the snowball, he knew his goal was to move on YCJ. Problem is, in comes Dazzle too. Jaeger and Dazzle band together to get the kill. YCJ is allowed to get to safety, and the haste rune comes to naught on Beavis.
Man, the Jaeger again with that perfect play coming up for the height. You saw how hesitant Mag was to go up to that high ground without vision. So Jaeger just found a safe route up to that high ground to make sure that there was not a gank waiting up there, and provided all the vision needed in the world in order to secure that kill. That rotation by itself made it possible for the Magnus to actually climb the hill and secure the kill safely.
Yeah,
And
no, I mean,
little things like that make a huge difference. Don't me.
I'm just, oh, he's been on fire. Like,
villager.
we can keep giving him verbal, verbal worship, but
He's been doing a good
he's playing
job.
well. Absolutely.
I am more impressed with his play here than I've been with, I think, any player so far today.
Absolutely.
Because it's the subtle things, right?
Now-
He hasn't necessarily been outplaying his opponents to the same degree that we've seen some other performances, but it's consistent and it's the subtleties, the difficult subtleties of execution.
Who was the Shaker in game 1?
That might have been him.
I'm trying to remember. Anybody remember who Shaker was?
I don't remember, but it might have. No, it was the off lane for McGill. So
Would
have
not
been
have
TK?
been. Yeah, I think that's right. All right, speaking of, Spider going to come by, puts up the track on TK, starts to harass him, but has to run as Jaeger turns the corner. The scariest man on the team, and he makes the big roll, goes after the Broodmother. Brood's able to back away. Vision comes out immediately. Bouncing ball of doom, though. Puts in a little bit of work. Will it be enough? Jaeger drops low. He gets finished off. That's a big kill there. Look at all those spiders, and they're going to run out. TK comes back in, puts up the heal, hopes to survive, and losing that Tusk was kind of a big deal. Now here comes the charge from YCJ. The Skewer misses Spider completely, and then we'll have to back away. It looks like YCJ will keep the push going up on the top lane. Small Plays continues to farm up that lane against Derek Yan, who is now level 8. Kim Jong going to hide in the trees as YCJ puts some damage on the tower. He has the backup of TK should he require it.
Yeah, and TK is just going to kind of come over here and try to overwhelming odds some spiderlings. That's what he's looking for, right? He's trying to find the spiders so that he can farm them up all at one time. He's not going to end up finding them because he got lazy and distracted. He's instead going to maybe duel? No, okay, he's going to TP out. Up top, where there is an engagement.
Uh-oh, it's Derek Ryan way behind the tower as per usual. Caught in a tough position, puts up the surge, but what's that really going to do? Big rotation in by everybody. It looked like TK wanted to try to get the duel up, but was unable to get the range to trigger it. Actually TP'd in for the duel, and really a loss that he wasn't able to activate it.
So it was Good Night who was the Shaker in game 1.
Okay, that makes sense.
And he's not playing anymore, right?
McGill
So
seems to be changing the
that's
team
why.
out pretty rapidly.
I think it's the Scrim, so that's what they're doing. Oh, mid lane, this is a dead moon, Panda. Good night, moon.
Good night, moon,
sun.
indeed.
Good night, stars.
Beavis, it takes out the Dazzle on the bottom lane. We do see the push from Kim Jong, gets the tower up on top. They should be able to take this one in a 1-for-1 exchange. That said, Brood gets her first tower at 14 minutes on target or way behind.
Depends how the game is going. For this game, I would say way ahead
good.
of where he should be based on his lane. They did shockingly well considering the lane. And especially with the start that they had, this shouldn't be going, honestly, how it is for CMU.
And they'll actually roll right into the Tier 2 tower. They've got a nice grouping of spiders. He actually sent them away to make sure that they stayed safe. Big engagement on Kim Jong. Out comes the Vision. Jaeger taking a lot of damage, though. He ends up going down. That Janata hurts before he drops. Derek Ryan comes out to help, but he's going to get locked away. YCJ finishes the job with the Skewer, and Beavis, who came to help as well, has to back off as CMU goes with a 2-for-1, and the gold definitely favored McGill at the back end of that engagement.
Oh, this is an interesting turn of events for sure. They need to be controlling this Broodmother much better than they are. And the one nice thing about it is, right, the Broodmother is their farming carry. And as that farming carry, Broodmother does not typically hero damage output that well in the late game. So if, oh boy, TK.
TK in some trouble. He's on the run. He's going to go down here. Yep, he will. He finishes. Let's have a quick chat about LC, a level 11, 15 minutes, no extra damage.
Yeah, hasn't been, the one rotation that there was to try and get that extra damage up top, and that didn't work out.
Well, and I believe on the bottom just now, she actually dueled someone that YCJ then skewered them away and slowed down the kill. So it just hasn't been working out. YCJ gets caught inside of a nice vacuum. Here comes Jaeger again to try and get the save up, but it's not in time. Moon comes out, puts up the weave that should guarantee CMU's withdrawal from this fight after getting a pick on the Magnus and ultimately the LC. That really worked out for them on that lane at the cost of the Broodmother, though. So the gold lead actually only slightly favored or exchanged CMU in that one because Brood was having such a good game in terms of KD ratio. Brood, by the way, has picked up a Radiance.
I don't see any problem with that build. With a start like this, getting a Radiance at 16 minutes, right? It helps out your push potential because it is going to make it difficult to fight into the team. And this Broodmother has already come to the conclusion that we have to win early. I don't know how I feel about the Morbid Mask, the casual Morbid Mask.
Yeah.
When you have Unsatiable Hunger anyway, right?
Should be interesting. Yeah, so here we go. We got 4 or 5 rotating down. It's going to be a head-to-head matchup down here on the bottom lane. And like they said, this has never been done by Broodmother in a pro game to go first rush into Radiance. In comes the roll. They catch Beavis. Beavis in some trouble. Going to have to make the run. Refraction charges down. YCJ on the chase. They pop Vision. In comes Kim Jong from the backside. Look how much he's hurting Jaeger. Jaeger will go down as YCJ didn't even look to try and get some help in. Small Plays chases the bounty. They lose YCJ because of that. And a lack of focus looks like it came in to haunt him. There's the duel. The first damage of the game given to the LC, and she's got to feel pretty good about finally getting her hands on that. It's a 3 for 3 in that exchange that ultimately it comes out to really a break even.
Yeah, anytime you can trade 3 for 3 and get damage on your LC, that's a good thing,
win.
Right?
Yep. So not too shabby. Mid lane is going to be Small Plays as he tries to farm forward and get himself that tier 1. A lot of tier 1 standing at 17 minutes.
Well, they haven't been able to get out because they've been having so much trouble with this Broodmother, which they once again they had all the tools in their toolkit to handle this. A quick rotation by the Tusk Dazzle bottom would have probably been a dual kill at 6, but instead, I mean, the LC did not have vision in the lane for a good chunk of the lane. The LC ended up dying. There were better rotations out of CMU than there were out of McGill, and it's starting to.
Oh, here comes the Blink duel. Goes in on Kim Jong, makes the move. Gonna get low here. This could be some trouble. Kim Jong will go down, but not before the duel ends. TK gets a heal. Now it's Beavis on the run. Almost hit by the Shockwave. Just barely misses. YCJ tries to get the Blink. Nice play by Spider. Puts up the track. Beavis caught inside of the Ice Shards. Tusk has been on fire with that spell.
I was going to say that duel was premature. That was my moment. That it did not seem like it was a well-timed duel. They ended up getting the kill anyway, so I retract what I would have said.
I'm not sure at this stage that duel was even... It would have been nice to get the damage, but it seemed more of a lock her in place, let's get the kill on her before she can disappear. And, you know, as it stands, that's an effective usage. Here comes the TP. Derek Ryan, what a vacuum! Catches everyone immediately. YCJ charges them away from it. Derek Ryan drops very low. Here comes the Lich Ultimate, putting in some serious work. Back and forth, Ice Shards, and the Moon goes down. Now it's TK and Jagger versus Spider. Spider finishing it, putting in some work. TK low. Janata is going to finish the job, and now Spider able to push this lane with his buddy Malum as they're the two sole survivors here in this fight. Meanwhile, Small Plays decided not to try to come in to help out. He just goes ahead and pushes down the mid tower, making it a 4 for 2 trade and a 2,000 gold get for CMU.
That's one of the few opportunities Small Place is going to get this game to actually free farm before he gets his Battle Fury up. I can't blame him for staying there and just making sure that they get the tower. It's a safe call.
Wow. That Darkseer, that was a hell of an engagement, man.
Yeah, honestly, that seemed really bold, and I'm glad it worked out for them. A little bit less lucky of a Chain Frost, and that would have turned on CMU really drastically.
I think that was the first reveal of his Blink Dagger too.
Of who?
Darkseer.
Yeah, I think it was as well.
So if you're gonna reveal a Blink Dagger, do it with a 4-man vacuum.
Yeah. Unfortunately, at this stage in the game, The vacuum wall is not. Oh, okay.
Right.
Here we go.
Oh, here's another engagement. YCJ gets caught. Oh, he gets the skewer off. Derek in some trouble as he gets taken away from the rest of his team. Gonna get knocked down. Walrus punch. Kim Jong goes on Jaeger. Jaeger is gonna drop down, so it's a 2-for-1 as they got the dazzle in the deal, and now they want to go after YCJ. YCJ dropping back. Kim Jong on the chase. Nice play by Small Plays to lock him in place. They turn back around. They want that Broody. Broody goes for the run. Versus comes out. The duel. They're gonna get that damage, but he's gonna die for it. That's okay, as it's now a 3-for-2, and CMU can withdraw, or can they? Small Plays comes in, starts the fight, and then he jumps to safety. YCJ looked like he was thinking about blinking in there.
That would have been worth it if we weren't at 20 minutes in the game, but we are at 20 minutes in the game. So the gold swing there ends up meaning a major item for at least one of these players. If we were at a stage where the major item...
Malum! Whoa! Derek comes in. He wants to fight. Beavis is there. YCJ. That's what it was. Malum was trying to bait that Magnus to cast a spell and stick around while Beavis and Darkseer came in, and it worked. And he survived.
Yeah.
I didn't think he was going to. I thought he was dead for sure when he did that. Like,
it's that next level baiting. And this TA is starting to get out of control, by the way. It's got, what is coming out to him? Because he had almost 3,000 gold a minute ago. Oh, did he buy a blink? Is that what it is? Yeah, okay.
Yep. All right, Small Plays goes head-to-head with Beavis. Beavis drops back. In comes the stun. Derek Ryan going to help out. Nice vacuum to try and buy a little bit of space. The duel comes out. Beavis dropping low. He's going to get finished by the Royals Punch. That's the extra damage, but here comes Kim Jong. Wants to go on Jaeger. Finishes the job. Bounce around by Small Plays. TK dropping very low. Gets a shallow grave. Moon in the danger zone, though, as Spider turns around. They're going to stick with TK. TK will go down. Nice, again, play by Small Plays to try and buy a little bit of space, but Kim Jong on the chase. Has the webs down. Has the damage. Moon Panda dropping low. Kim Jong in a little bit of trouble. Small Plays cannot adjust and cannot chase. Here comes the TP from Malum, though. Malum wants to make a play. In comes YCJ. He gets the double. Down he goes. That's a 3-man, and they're going to continue to chase Kim Jong as he drags his legs behind him. Whew.
Yeah.
TP is for days.
So, it turns out Ember Sphere finished that Battle Fury.
Yeah.
And not great with a giant spiderling army hanging out.
Yeah, I feel pretty strongly that both teams seem to have forgotten that you can TP in after you respawn from a fight. Kim Jong going to go into the trees, jukes around to get away. They're doing everything they can to AoE him, but he's just watching as they make those decisions. Now he's going to go ahead and chase YCJ, thinking about making an engagement. He's got Insatiable Hunger up, but he's not going to do it. YCJ will blink to safety. Double damage rune up on Small Plays, going to go into the bottle.
They're going to go into Roche here. They don't have the negative armor to do this. Oh, they do have a Solar Crest up on Jaeger because he's had such a good game. So they might be able to do this with Empower as well. It won't be fast, though.
Ruh-roh. They're going to go ahead and find Derek Ryan. YCJ gets him, hits him with the skewer. Boom! Back to base, locked in place. Not a pretty way to go.
Oh, boys. Spiders are coming in. Here
comes the ulti. It's going to bounce around. Puts in some work. Nicely done, but jumps away. Ember Spirit leaves and comes back. The VS is up. He gets the extra damage. TK now on the run. Vision going to be put up by the Tusk to try and find himself some Kim Jong. Kim Jong wants to follow. Goes into the snowball, which should put him in a position to get killed here. He lands the Walrus, wants to move, but Kim Jong will finish the job. Spider on the backup. Meanwhile, TK and Beavis going head-to-head. Weave comes out. Beavis doesn't care. He's got his refraction charges up, wants TK, decides it's not worth the trouble, backs away, finds himself some Moon. Moon gets the heal, and now we go back to Brood as she pushes the bottom lane.
Yeah, that purge on that slow just saved that Dassel's life for sure. Good,
so very
good play by
done.
Legion Commander.
Kim Jong still playing aggressively. In comes
no.
YCJ, just misses it. Blows the ultimate, gets force-stabbed forward by Kim, but immediately tries to run away. TK taking some damage. Kim's got to back away, gets caught by the shockwave. Beavis is here to help out now. Pull the spiders back. You've got the creep wave on the tower. Easily hittable. Kim Jong wants to go, zones back the Moon, and now they'll be able to take this one. Out comes the glyph. Maybe not. McGill looks like he wants to engage. Shockwaves again. Hit from behind by Spider. The track is now up on him. TP's coming out. What's that TP, Jaeger? Curious, crazy, aggressive. The rest of the team comes in. Here's the snowball. The VS. Spider in some trouble. Good play there. Knocked back, but that's going to be additional damage. Up to 84 for the LC, who is off to a slow start, but it's looking pretty good right now as they make the chase. They want to go after Kim Jong. They've got the vision. Kim tries to loop around. He's going to get caught out. So many sentry wards down right now. Here comes the ultimate from the Lich just to be mean, but it's not going to do anything well as it gets a couple of bad bounces. TK comes in, tries to make that play there, and they get another kill. So TK up to 84 damage. What is the average damage get for ALC at this stage of the game? Is he starting to get back on track to where you would expect an LC to be?
No idea. So the way that we would have to track that would require a little bit too much of my attention. It's possible Mythos will be able to pull it out, but
That's more of what I was hoping for.
And also, Legion Commander, remember, in pro games where that data tends to be tracked much more closely,
right,
is not that popular. So the data sample that you're going to get is not going to be the most robust out of that. So 84, in my experience from just general pubs, is pretty good. In terms of pro games, you would normally want it to be a bit higher, I suspect, although it's absolutely fine for this stage in the game when they have a late game advantage.
And especially from how far back LC was with no damage stacks, and I think it was 15, 20 minutes.
It is a bummer if your LC is not ahead.
Right.
And we were saying in the laning phase that she had some trouble. She was behind a bit.
Spider! Spider! Oh, he's going to get swatted, stomped on, and smashed.
If you get any momentum, that happens.
GG from CMU. CMU says, F it, we're going to bed.
Yeah,
they're done.
I don't blame them. They don't really have a route to victory with Broodmother as their farming carry. She did fine early game, but the rest of the team couldn't rally around her and make it happen fast enough.
So that will be it, guys. That's our Tuesday night fights here for the Collegiate Star League. Brought to you the Carnegie Mellon University boys versus the guys from McGill in this matchup for the Collegiate Star League. My name is Toffees. You can find me at Toffees TV over on Twitter, and I'm joined by my co-caster Gorgon the Wonder Cow. Where can these guys find you?
You guys can find me over at the Wonder Cow on the Twitter, where the cool kids hang.
There you go. So, guys, come back. We'll be here Thursday night with the new matchup. Follow us on Twitter to know which game it's going to be specifically. Either way, it's going to be an awful lot of fun, so make sure you're here. I'll play some music.
That's an awkward point for a hiccup. An off.
Right? A hiccup like snuck up on me. But I'm gonna stay in Twitch chat for a little while. We're gonna play some music for you. If you have any questions, feel free to throw them at us. And I'm gonna write some bad poetry for the radio tomorrow. That said, it's gonna be a wonderful night. It's been a great night of Dota. A little clowny, but an awful lot of fun. Gorgon, have a wonderful evening. Guys, thanks for joining us. And as always, Toffee's out. You know what? It's over, so I'll talk to you guys since you brought it up, Tan. I'll show the music down. So what a lot of folks don't know is I also work as an actor as my other job. So every once in a while I get calls. I got a call from a morning radio station where I live, and they are doing a open mic, quote unquote, skit thing tomorrow, and asked me to come in. They bought me to come in and do a character. So I'm doing a character of a guy who is a seasonal. He writes seasonal freestyle poetry. And then I'll do a 1-minute performance, quote unquote, at which point callers from the radio station can call in and vote as whether or not they liked my poetry. And if they like it, I get to do a 2nd minute of poetry, which I hope they don't like it because so far I've only written barely a minute of bad poetry. So if they keep me on as a joke, I will likely have to make it up on the spot, and that should be incredibly interesting. So anyway, that's the background story to what I said, just so you know. Tant and anybody else who really cares. The poetry is terrible, and hopefully it is also a lot of fun.
city.